don't.
Well, that's what this show is about.
Please
Welcome to
don't.
Bracket Bastard, the podcast. We take a bracket of 32, 64, 128 and more, and banter our way down to a winner. I am not your host this week. We had the beautiful Bubbles here to do that, to take care of that one for you. But let's go ahead and introduce our guest. Jamie is back. Jamie, how are you doing today?
You know, I'm freaking fabulous as always. I'm mouthy as ever, and I'm ready to talk about some hot dads. Let's go.
After that, of course, Nancy has joined us with her beautiful presence so well. How are you doing today there, love?
Doing good. I'm excited to talk about my unhealthy obsession with celebrity men.
And we'll be getting to that shortly. Speaking of another hot person that we have an introduction today. Believe it or not, we had a recent departure that I will not go into. Jeremy is no longer with the show. As a show, we wish him the best in his future endeavors, but he will not be back. We do have a upgrade in that department, though. Shay is officially a full-time bastard now. She has joined the crew. Shay, welcome to the family.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So happy to be here.
Grand wave, the Grand Dame wave. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being here today.
And as I said before, we have Bubbles going to be doing the hosting gigs. But before we do that, we have a couple rules, couple perks, couple lifelines. We're not doing past a parcel today because there's only 5 people here, which means we do have an odd number. But we are, however, doing steal a vote and blowing a load. One time during the show, you're allowed to blow your load. If you're one of the first people to going, if you do not want to go first, but you're scheduled to do so, you can blow your load. That means you're going last. If somebody else blows their load after you, you are no longer going last, but going directly before them, and so on and so forth. The other one, of course, is the steal a vote. You can steal somebody's vote. One time during the show, up into including the quarterfinals, if somebody blew their load before you, that means their vote is still active and they're still able to be stolen. Other than that, you have to be voting for people who haven't voted yet. If they've already voted, you're screwed. It's solid. And just because it's come up multiple times, all votes are active until the last person votes. If somebody else happen to change your mind in the process and you want to admit that you're wrong on your original statement, you are more than welcome to do so. Just let Bubbles know. That way she can go ahead and change your vote in the official docket. And there's that. And of course, the perk. And you can go ahead 2 different ways. I did make the bracket this week, but Bubbles is hosting. So you can either do the entire FYF rule, which, by the way, there will be a show coming out in January of people telling me to fuck off. There was about 43 minutes or so last year of people telling me to fuck off. Go ahead and check that one out. But next year, I'm hoping to go ahead and add to that or even make it longer. So
Otherwise,
if you want to
today
tell me
we can do pop your bubble if we're pissed off at Bubbles since she is the host. Just saying. Just saying. So fuck you, Freddie, or I'm going to pop your bubble. That's it.
Either way, you can tell me to stick it or you can tell Bubble to stick it, but there it is. Speaking of Bubbles, of course, Bubbles, what is our first matchup?
All right, so our first matchup is going to be Hugh Jackman versus Robert Pattinson. So we've got Wolverine versus Edward. Or Batman.
The Batman. The most horrible Batman of them all.
Lies.
The lovely, sane lighthouse keeper.
For this one, I'm going with Wolverine here. I definitely in that accent. Jamie.
Oh, as soon as you said Hugh Jackman, I grew up tomboy, loving X-Men, and if I was one of the characters besides Storm or Rogue or Jubilee, it would be Wolverine every time, hands down. That I want that man to manhandle me. I want to see Deadpool and Wolverine this summer. I'm about to cream my pants thinking about this vote, so we're gonna just Hugh Jackman.
As a theater kid, there is nothing that you dream of more than a hot leading man to sing a duet with. So, Hugh Jackman.
I'm sorry, I have to be a little indifferent here. As much as I do very much appreciate Hugh Jackman. Little obsessed younger Cheyenne has to go against that. Though how much I was a tomboy also growing up watching all the X-Men, Edward will always hold a special place in my heart. So I have to give my vote to him.
I was Team Edward back in the day for that little period of time. I will throw that out there. I will.
Oh, I was.
Of the two options, yes, I was him as well.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I was Team Jacob, like all the way on that one. I personally believe that Edward was a complete and utter douche when it comes to what he was doing. He could have just been forthcoming and everything else from the start, but no, he was like all powerful and just being a douche. However, in this particular
Jacob
vote,
wasn't much better. Jacob was a brat.
I personally think Jacob was better looking too. As I've stated on this show before, I'm not completely straight, so I will be speaking on what I personally think the general population and what my thought process would be on this one. Hugh Jackman back in the day, Hugh Jackman now is. We always, me and my friends always make a comment going, instead of saying Hugh Jackman is huge jacked man. Because that's exactly what he is when you see him burst out of the water in the first X-Men movie.
He was pretty sexy
and
in
he's
Logan.
all dripping wet and everything else. It's just just that. Plus, being a theater kid myself, I absolutely love anybody who can sing on stage and have that kind of
Hey,
He
but
can sing, he can
but-
dance.
voice.
Robert Pattinson. Also,
Yeah, but he's a little bit more of emo indie
Yeah.
Brit boy.
That's all me though.
Yeah. I mean, I will say that my favorite singer is also that, so
But either way, Hugh Jackman gets my vote.
All right, so that's a 4-1 with Hugh Jackman moving on. All right. And our next matchup is going to be Tom Hardy versus Hugh Grant.
Oh, that's an easy one.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Tom,
Could we just take that as a collective decision of what all the choices are?
Come on, we are Venom. There's a third one coming out. Let me just go to my bedroom and change my unders, because
No one knew me before the mask.
stop it, girl.
Me take a bite out of that.
I mean, it goes without saying it's Tom Hardy. I'm also going to put out there that my big celebrity husband, as all my friends call him, has been called the Wish version of Tom Hardy, so I have to go with Tom Hardy.
Was it Charlie Hunnam?
No, it's
Charlie Hunnam's so much better looking than Tom Hardy is. Don't start with that.
It's Jai Courtney.
That's arguable, Freddie. Yeah, Bubbles, you know my vote. Yeah, I don't gotta say it.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I know Shay's vote here. But go ahead and just for audio
Tom Hardy all the fucking way.
Oh yeah.
For dexterity's sake.
I got that adrenaline momentum.
She got that Venom momentum.
But for all you audio listeners out there, before the show actually started, we were sitting there conversing, waiting on another person who was supposed to be on here, because I wasn't supposed to be voting today. I was supposed to be just part of the background crew. We were talking about Hugh Grant, and there was a collective, not really a or like exactly what that was. It was a type thing. So a couple minutes after that conversation, there was a conversation about Tom Hardy and asking if this was Tom Hardy. The picture that I threw in the list for these lovely ladies, it was kind of a darker type picture of him. And I apologize, but I personally think that was the hottest that he looked like in that particular picture, and that's what I was going for. So that topic came up.
I want to see him in his t-shirt and his gray sweater, sweating his ass off while he's just gotten venom in him and he just looks freaked out. That's hot as fuck.
And the fact that he's a journalist on top of it, because that was what I've always wanted to be since I was little. Oh my God. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I have an unhealthy obsession with Venom. I will say that. It's
yeah.
I feel like that's him at his peak right now for me. It's like I love him in Venom.
Any art that I see of Venom or Carnage is immediately my favorite. Anything with the crazy teeth and the crazy hands and stuff. That's my shit.
Oh yeah.
The tongue didn't come up at all.
I mean,
I was gonna say
I feel like that went without saying, but
I mean, like, oh, the eyes are gorgeous. I love the lips and everything else. Nothing about like strong hands or a nice tongue or anything like that. Things like that's exactly what I would go for. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
We do love that stuff, but men, we do look at other aspects first. But that strong tongue comes in a strong second for Tom Hardy.
Speaking of, I was watching something on Facebook the other day because one of my favorite things to do when I'm on break is just watch this Facebook videos, and there was a younger gentleman complaining about guys with dad bods, and going, it's like if he doesn't understand how women are attracted to guys with dad bods over a guy who's like 6'4" and absolutely jacked and everything else.
Because they're squishy.
It wasn't even that. It was and then I think they call it a stitch. So another person comes in over the video and said something to the effect about, and see, this is where this is why women have a tendency to go for dad bods over men who are jacked, is because if you look at a guy who has a dad bod, I mean, he takes care of himself, but he's not like a gym rat type thing. His priorities are probably going towards other things like work life or family life or other
making
stuff that he has other he has other responsibilities. He takes care of other people over himself. And so if you have somebody who is super jacked and in the gym all the time, that person's probably not going to have a lot of time for you. So realistically, the women who are going for these dad bods, you're going to want a woman who goes for the dad bod type instead of these super jack guys, because that's the type of person who is looking inward at a person rather than just the outward impression that they have.
Rather than just looking at his tongue.
So, well, that would technically be inward, and that's what you're going to get later on. So there's that. Either way, to say Tom Hardy does get my vote on this one, they're bubbles.
You know what? I assumed, but I just wanted to make sure you said it out loud before I wrote it. Honestly, because I know like there was like a Hugh Grant phase. I just never jumped on that train, if I'm going to be honest. Not that he's not bad looking, or not that he's like bad looking, but like he's just, I guess, not my type. So,
and I hear he's an asshole too. So
yeah, I've heard
that knocks points
off. Tips it back too much kind of guy.
Yeah, that's an ick for me.
And if I remember right, Hugh Grant was the guy that got in trouble because he tried to pay a prostitute with a check.
I think he did. I think he did some risque behavior. So I applaud him for that. But
some very boomer behavior there, sir.
Well, and the prostitute was an undercover cop. So he tried to pay an undercover cop who was undercover as a prostitute with a check with his actual name on it.
Oh my lord!
Yeah, it was quite a scandal back in the day. I remember that.
I don't remember that, but
Well, I don't remember it
hearing stories
actually because
about
I was like a kid, but I remember that from like looking into pop culture and stuff.
Now we have our first sweep of the day already. But we're going to go ahead. We're going to move on. Our next matchup is going to be Chris Hemsworth versus Penn Badgley.
Who?
badly.
The guy from You.
Oh, duh. Why did I? Oh, wow. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
So we've got Thor versus the guy from You. I can't. His name from the show is Joe. It was slipping my mind, but it came back. Don't worry, just circle here. And we're starting with Nancy on this one.
I have to look back at Penn Badgley because, like,
he also.
I was first thinking that I'm like, I kind of want to go with Chris Hemsworth because, like, I will say that Chris Hemsworth is like I like funny guys. Yeah, I'll put that out there if anyone knows my husband. I like funny guys. I also like he's funny. He's attractive. He's Australian, so that's like really awesome. But I'm gonna say that I'm kind of more drawn attractively to Penn Badgley. Is I think he is a very attractive man too. So I'm like kind of like going here 50-50. We'll give it to Chris Hemsworth. I think he's just slightly edges it up. Also, he's hilarious if you hear him talk about his kids.
Mm-hmm.
So some of the conversations he has about his kids are insane and hilarious.
I love it because it's realistic.
Yeah.
All right, Shay, which one's for you?
So I did really like Penn Badgley in Easy A, the way his character was in that. But I definitely have to go Chris Hemsworth though. With like I loved the ditzy blonde of him playing in Ghostbusters and everything about Thor. So
see, he plays a himbo very well.
yeah,
he does.
and it was beautimous.
All right, Freddie.
I'm one of those people that I consider one of the sexiest things that anybody could have, men, woman, whatever, can have is a sense of humor. And Chris Hemsworth definitely has a sense of humor. He has a really good sense of humor in majority of the movies that he's in, even some of the serious ones. It's just super funny. My favorite Chris Hemsworth movie, believe it or not, is a movie called Cabin in the Woods, where, spoiler alert for a movie that's, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years old by this point. But it came out, the movie was filmed before Thor was, but it didn't come out until after Thor came out. So by the time it came out, he was a huge star because of Thor, but it was filmed before that. So he wasn't a huge star. So you have these posters go up and the listing of people who were in the movie, and Chris Hemsworth in the movie, and you're sitting there expecting that, oh yeah, he's going to be the star character. He's going to make it at least 3/4 of the way in the movie, or get himself killed trying to save somebody else. No, within like a half hour of the movie, he takes a dirt bike, trying to ramp himself over a gorge type thing, and runs into an invisible wall and just slides down the wall. It was one of the funniest death scenes that I've seen in a long ass time. And if you guys get a chance, you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods, go check out Cabin in the Woods. This is my favorite funny horror movie of all time. But yes, Chris Hemsworth, for his humor alone, gets my vote.
Now with this one, because we all know Thor is just top notch. Okay, he is definitely top tier. However, with Penn Badgley, like the idea that he can be so obsessed with somebody. Like, I kind of like the idea of somebody being that obsessed with me. Like, look, I'm willing to kill for you, bitch. I like that. That kind of gets me a little bit excited. And he also, I would say, has a sense of humor. You know, because he does play in Easy A, and I agree with Shay that his character in that was so wonderful. Like, he definitely
That was the first thing that I saw him in, and I was like,
right. Oh goodness, he played as a secondary character in
Gossip Girl.
Gossip Girl. That's what I was getting ready to say.
Because that's what I knew him from when I was a teenager. Because like he was one of my teenage crushes, was Penn Badgley, and that was also why I was like, ooh.
Yeah. John Tucker Must Die. He was the brother. Yeah. And that was the first thing I saw him in, and he was an awesome character in that too, just as a human being kind of person. Like, hey, you know, girl, if you want to be a hoe, you be a hoe. It's cool. I still dig you. I dig that. And then again, like the fact that he can be so caring and then he can be so obsessive, like what? So my vote's actually going to go ahead and go to Penn Badgley on this one.
Here, I was gonna think that I was the only one giving Penn a vote. I really enjoyed him in You. Like, I forgot who he was as a normal person, and for his prior character with Gossip Girl. I don't know. There's something mysterious and intriguing that keeps me watching him for more, so I'm gonna give it to Penn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Right? Like you said, like the idea of that, like the obsession. I'm like, I'm kind of excited about that.
I know, and the fact that he was such a bookworm in that too. And I'm just
always
like,
the quiet ones
about the characters he plays, but I'm like, you can be obsessed with me. I'm okay with that.
Listen, it's us quiet, nerdy ones that you have to watch out for.
I'm glad this one did get a split vote, though. I mean, Chris Hemsworth definitely should move on. I know that, but I'm definitely glad that it was split because Penn definitely deserved our votes. But moving on to our next matchup, it's Cillian Murphy versus Joseph Morgan.
You know who I'm going for.
Joseph Morgan. who I'm not sure off the top of my head who Joseph Morgan is.
He's from the Vampire Diaries and the originals. He's also in the new Halo show.
Hold on.
Sorry, so he's in the new Halo show. He's also in the Vampire Diaries as the villain Klaus and the main character in the show The Originals.
He should be right after on your pick list, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I like Cillian Murphy as an actor, but I just don't find him attractive. So we'll give it to the other guy.
I'm gonna go with Murphy on this one. I'm sorry. This is as far as a DILF appreciation on this one, and the D in DILF is of course dad. I kind of have to go for somebody who's at least my age or older, because that just ruins the entire thing. No, I'm perfectly kidding about that. I've seen pictures of him from before and now, and believe it or not, now I still think, even though he plays these aged characters,
he's still like Keanu that doesn't really age.
He really doesn't, and it sucks because I'm super jealous. But
his face creeps me the fuck out.
It's supposed to, though.
It looks like that no matter what angle you're at, he's staring at you. What's with the cheekbones and the eyes? Is this a box situation, or did you really have some fucked up looking parents? Because that
Matt Mickelson is the same way. Like he just looks scary, but if it's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast type thing too. Is it?
Alien beauty. I think they call it like an alien beauty about them.
Something like that. I just feel like creeped out when he looks at me like he's not even
he just
looking at me.
looks so surprised all the time. Like,
yes.
Like what are we doing?
Yes.
But I am excited to see him come back for 28 years later, though.
Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, but he does creep
Not
me
his
out.
face.
Either way, he gets my
acting
vote.
Prowess in movies, just not his face.
As far as me, I am going for Joseph Morgan. I like Vampire Diaries. I like the originals, and I think he does very well in his characters. He is sexy. I think I follow him on Facebook. Yeah, no, I totally I dig him. Again, Cillian Murphy, like he does great in the roles that he's in. But again, he's just not my type.
Good way of putting it there without ruffling those feathers. I agree. I mean, Cillian Murphy, I've never been displeased by his acting and things like and the roles that he ends up playing, but I have to say Joseph Morgan and the originals grew on me. I wasn't a fan of it at first, but Matt was watching it quite a bit, so I started cluing in. I liked Nicholas and Elijah were my favorite, obviously, off that show. But Joseph Morgan and his character and just the way he holds himself, he really won me over, and it took a little bit. So I want him to have that credit. So he's getting my vote and then some.
All of the originals, with the exception of Fenn, the guy they had playing Fenn was not really my type, but all the originals are, including Freya and then Rebecca, are also both really, really pretty and hot.
And
the fact that Freya was queer was like, but I'm gonna put it out there. I think everyone knows who I'm voting for. I'm obsessed with Joseph Morgan. Joseph Morgan. I have been obsessed with Joseph Morgan since I first saw him on Vampire Diaries all those years ago. He is like one of my top. He's one of my top guys that I'm really, really obsessed with. I love his voice. I love his acting. I love everything about him. And oh yeah, Joseph Morgan all the way, baby.
Unpopular opinion. I've never seen Vampire Diaries.
I haven't either.
I say, wasn't there another super hot guy on that show too?
So
are the originals or Vampire Diaries?
Vampire Diaries.
Oh, that's Somerhalder. People were obsessed with him, and I was at first too. I'm not as into him anymore, but like, I still see the appeal of him. But like, people are hungry and thirsty as F for Ian Somerhalder.
It's the eyes. It's that.
Yeah,
he's got a nice dark hair, but it's like that's about it.
Not to mention he played a bad boy who was like a very morally gray character, and like I just remember because like I remember being so freaking in love with that character too, being like yeah, and then the originals came on. You met the original vampires, and then you're like, oh no, I want these bad guys to tie me up. I like these guys. Cole is another one on there who is one of the originals. Who Nathaniel Bozolik, who played Cole. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. He was. Yes. He also he's Australian, so like that's an additional point in his favor. I'm a little obsessed with men with accents.
Just slightly.
Just slightly.
All right. So our next matchup that we have here is Ryan Reynolds versus Norman Reedus. So Deadpool versus Walking Dead.
Daryl.
And I think we're starting with Freddie on this one.
Yeah. I can see the appeal on both of these. Norman Reedus is a beautiful, beautiful man. But I think Norman Reedus' beauty is in his hair. The longer he has his hair, the more beautiful he is. If you've seen him in like the movie Boondock Saints,
his brother.
He's just okay. No, you know what? I'm gonna change the example. But yeah, I do agree with you, Bubbles, on that one. The Walking Dead. Beginning of the show, he had short hair. The end of the show, he had long hair because there's no point of getting a fucking haircut when there's in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. And at the beginning of the show, like, he wasn't a good-looking guy, but at the end of the show, he was a very good-looking guy. So that's what that is. However, Ryan Reynolds, my son, is playing with the light switch upstairs, so the light over there keeps flashing on and off, and it's driving me nuts. Anyway, Ryan Reynolds is a beautiful man too, like in general across the board, looks-wise. But again, it comes back to the entire humor element, and Ryan Reynolds makes me laugh fucking constantly. The fact that he doesn't do stand-up bothers me because I want to hear him do stand-up, just to see if it's a writer issue with him, like he's good with stuff that is written for him, or he can actually make people laugh, whatever it is.
But he can, but he's got severe anxiety. He's been very open about it. There's a great interview with him and Hugh Jackman, actually, where they talk about it. I think Ryan Reynolds would do it, but for the sake of the anxiety factor, that is what holds him back a lot, but that makes him fucking sexier. Ooh, right.
It really does. A man that can admit his faults is just in general a sexy thing. Ryan Reynolds gets my vote though. Oh, and before I forget there, Bubbles.
So satisfying.
Hold
on, I don't know if you know this, but I've been eating these Skittles that are freeze dried.
Frozen.
So I have nice crunch on it. But with this one, like I see the appeal of Norman Reedus, but I don't think I've ever actually like been attracted to him. Ryan Reynolds, on the other hand, like you see actors and stuff on TV and you're like, okay, you know what? Yeah, no, they're really good looking. But like the way that I think about it is if I'm walking down the street and this person passes me, am I doing a double take? Like, am I shooting around? Am I catching some whiplash, right? Ryan Reynolds was definitely the first actor that I saw that I was like, oh my God, like I would do 4 takes. I would break a fucking leg for this dude just to get a second look, right? And he's funny. He's a great dad. He's realistic when it comes to his parenting and stuff. He's fun with his wife. His wife's sexy as fuck too. Like, let me tell you what, if they both said, hey, Bubbles, come on over, I would bet.
Yes.
Any other time we would say no, but for them, never.
Say yes.
We're doing this bracket on Bracketology right now. The last one we did was the MILF bracket. Blake Lively came in second place.
As she should.
She got beat out by Scarlett Johansson in the finals, but yeah, she got second place, and I was actually kind of disappointed about that.
Yeah, so for this one, my vote is obviously Ryan Reynolds. Like, I'm pretty sure that he just has to breathe in my direction and I might get the big O, He just has to wink and it's done. I am a fucking sloppy mess. Jamie.
I am the same. The way he goes about his humor and the awkwardness with it. Then, of course, like I mentioned, his interview recently with Hugh Jackman, where they talk about his anxiety and other stuff. He's been very real in a lot of conversations with interviewing, and I really enjoy that about him. I'll never forget him in the movie Waiting and seeing that wine, that all of that. I'm not into that. That's not my type. But when I saw Ryan Reynolds like that, I was like, wait a minute, what? For sure. For me, it's just the awkward humor. It's how he presents it, how he is. So I'm gonna give it to Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool and all of that humor.
If you want to see an awkward humor version of Ryan Reynolds, there's a movie called Voices out there where he's technically a serial killer because I think he kills at least 3 people, but he's in it. Andrew Kendrick is in it as well, and a whole bunch of other cool people. But if it's really awkward humor with him, and it's a fun movie.
What was the name of the movie?
Voices.
Voices. Okay. All right. Oh,
sorry.
I was going to say, Nancy, go ahead.
No, so like again, it's been echoed. Like I see the appeal of Norman Reedus. I never got into Walking Dead. I'm not a huge zombie person, so like I've never really got into the show. So I never really got the massive appeal of him. Going back to Ryan Reynolds, just I really do appreciate him. I also will say that I like interviews. I like the back in the heyday where you had funny actors who they would have funny interviews where just like they just go off. And that's what I like about Ryan Reynolds is so often I'm thinking about the times they question him about Taylor Swift or his kids and he just goes like on like a crazy tangent cycle where you're laughing the entire interview and you can tell the interviewers are laughing because they lost control of him. And that is actually something that I find incredibly sexy. And he's also is a very smart businessman. If you look at all the businesses he's invested in, and that is also to me is incredibly sexy as well. So I think like it has to go to Ryan Reynolds.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I was into Walking Dead for quite a bit, but I just never thought that Norman Reedus was ever very attractive. Very cool that he was in the Lady Gaga music video for Judas. But from like all the interviews and everything with Ryan Reynolds, I kind of just feel like Deadpool is just Ryan Reynolds, just with a little bit of scripting. And anybody that's funny has my vote, so it's definitely Ryan Reynolds.
And that's going to take the sweep as it should. Ryan Reynolds should be the sweep. And then we're going to go ahead and move to our next one, which is Michael B. Jordan versus Mads Mikkelsen.
Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to make that noise. That was involuntary.
Now, as far as Mads, like, I think he's hot.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think he's hot. Mm-hmm. Michael B. Jordan, on the other hand. Oh my God. Like,
I don't know. I didn't really get the hype.
Really? Because I would let that man put a baby in me just because. And he would raise it with no questions asked. And yes. So he's definitely got my vote.
Can I trade him out for Jamie Foxx? Then we'll talk.
I can't believe Jamie Foxx is not a dad. That surprised me.
I thought he was.
I thought he was too, and then I was making this list, and it just wasn't there. Granted, the number one DILF that was on the list in general was Pedro Pascal.
Yeah,
But as I was saying before the show started, Pedro Pascal is not a dad. Keanu Reeves, the same thing. I couldn't count Keanu Reeves because I really should and I feel bad about this one, but there was another one that I couldn't count because their baby's not born yet.
Henry Cavill?
Keanu Reeves.
Is it Henry Cavill?
Yeah. But Keanu Reeves would have been a daughter, was stillborn.
Yeah.
So if I can't count a baby that isn't born yet, I probably shouldn't count a baby that was never made it the full route, I guess. Which is the reason why Keanu Reeves and
I don't know, because those mothers are still mothers. So
I know, and that's where I was trying to, but I was trying to cut it down. There's a play-in matchup coming up, so I couldn't bring it to a full, bring it down to a full 32. And when that play-in matchup comes up, I will explain why one made it. So that 32 was on the list. So.
So our next person it's actually moving to Jamie.
Okay, so our choices again were who?
Michael B. Jordan and Mads Mikkelsen.
Who's that? That's who I was confused on.
Mads Mikkelsen was Hannibal Lecter. He was the one who took over for the newer Hannibal Lecter, not Anthony Hopkins. He's also the one who took over for Depp.
If you're looking at your list, by the way, of pictures, he's right after Hugh Grant.
Yeah, as soon as you said the new, no, he's not.
Should be.
Not on my setup. He's not after.
Well, your phone is weird.
My setup's different. Anyways,
and he was in Star Wars.
Yeah, love the guy and everything, but he kind of creeps me out too a little bit. I don't know. There's something about him that he creeps me out. But Michael B. Jordan, I remember watching him on things over the years before he really got into acting and became a bigger name. And I kind of still enjoy him. So I'm going to give Michael B. Jordan my vote.
All right, Nancy.
All right. So I'm over here agonizing because on one hand, I'm thinking of Mads Mikkelsen. Really like. Also, I believe he's Danish, and that's basically Scandinavian. So my Viking ancestry calls to him. But I keep on thinking about Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther as Killmonger when he's shirtless with the scarring, and that did things to me that I'm not exactly proud of, but that image will live in my head for the rest of my life as a oh god moment. Michael B. Jordan.
Oh yes.
Do you need to go change, dear?
I might. It's a little uncomfortable here.
There's a reason why all these the video cameras are like the northern spectrum of the body, because what you guys do on your own, what's below the table is your own issues. Or freedom.
There was a girl who had broke her brackets on her braces.
Yeah.
In that Killmonger scene, and had tweeted about it. And then Michael B. Jordan paid to have him fixed. Like, what?
So I will say my first time seeing that movie, I sat between and my husband on one side, and I then had my husband's best man at his wedding, who is who is pansexual, and basically when that scene happened, both me and my husband's best man were like, "Damn!" and it was just a whole thing where my husband said, I can't let you two sit next to each other because the whole movie you guys were the Chaos Twins. Because we were just we were having some issues in that scene.
All right, Shay.
It's very Mads Mikkelsen for me.
Really?
I'm not a huge fan of Michael B. Jordan.
Is there any like particular reason why, or just?
I think Mads Mikkelsen's slightly scariness is kind of hot.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right.
That dominance. There's something about like he can provide for me. He will fucking kill for me, and he will fuck me too. You know, he just has that all around daddy vibe.
There's something very sexy about men with like the angular, like predatory like faces.
Yeah, he's got very defined features. Something like with the other guy too.
I will say that's actually something with the three Skarsgård brothers who are actors. That is why I find them incredibly attractive. It's because they also have that about them. Another person who is an uncommon person for people to find attractive, Dane DeHaan. He kind of has that alien beauty. That like, and it's that whole thing of just like there's this kind of scary quality about their face and intensity that's just like, ooh.
Get in my pants.
Sorry. My husband heard what the bracket was. He's like, why are you in there? And then I'm like, they're talking about celebrity men. And he's like, oh, that's why.
It's a DILF bracket. What do you think it was going to be?
Well, like that was, it was just like him when because I needed to explain to him what a DILF was at first.
Oh.
And then he was like, so why are you in there? And then I'm like, they're talking about celebrity men? And he's like, oh, never mind.
Oh my goodness. You know, when it comes to like the whole Hannibal Lecter thing, Josh thinks I'm really odd for this, but I feel like it's reasonable. But I was like, I think it's rude. He is feeding people to people and they don't even know. Like, I would be upset if I ate a person and didn't know about it. Like, at least give me the option to turn it down. So he was like, so the fact that he killed somebody and cooked that person doesn't bug you. It's the fact that he didn't get consent from the people to eat people. And that's where it does it for me. I'm like, I just think it's rude. I
like that. And that's where it does it for me.
What else is he going to keep from me if he can't even tell me he's going to feed me a person like that?
But what if they were delicious?
Well, see, but I would like the option. I'm okay if it's delicious, but I would like the option, you know, just to at least know.
It's no. I can't tell you because if I tell you, you're not going to eat it. Just try it. Just try it.
As a person who has Southern parents, I've learned a long time ago not to know what you're eating. So,
as a person who has a Southern and Swedish, a mom who's both Southern and her mother was Swedish, yes.
Like sometimes you don't want to know what's in the pot, or how it came to be in the pot, or if it was still alive when it went in the pot. There's certain questions that you don't want to know.
Or what part of the animal you're eating.
My vote. I'm not going to say my vote just in case I happen to sway somebody before I officially finish. I like Michael B. Jordan. He's a good-looking guy, younger dude. My favorite movie he's in is, believe it or not, is Space Jam 2. Because that joke is just absolutely hysterical, where they went to go, knowing that LeBron James is nowhere near as good as Michael Jordan, they went out to go find Michael Jordan, but instead of finding Michael Jordan, found Michael B. Jordan in the crowd, and it was absolutely hysterical, and it still makes me laugh. People give that movie so much crap, and that there's so much meta in that movie is fantastic. However, as a guy, I have to put up a front a majority of the times of that I have to provide. I have to be the domineering one. I have to be scary for other people out of the world type thing, and I can't let my guard down. So being dominated in a certain aspect, and I guarantee you, Michael B. Jordan could probably dominate me too, because look at the guy. But Mads has a certain aspect around him that if it was Jordan, I could probably say no. I could probably say no. Mikkelsen, I would be so freaking terrified in a good way that you wouldn't want to say no. You couldn't say no because it's an entire going back to
staring into your soul.
I know, like going back to the entire Vampire Academy type thing, where it's the darkness that draws you in, and sometimes that's not such a bad thing. So I know Michael B. Jordan has the third vote to move on. And apparently I haven't swayed anybody for the Mads Mikkelsen one.
I'm thinking about it. It's really hard right now.
That's what she said.
What?
All right, honey, live your truth. We know it's hard.
I mean, okay, bringing this up too, like, for the entire kink community out there, I can't imagine Michael B. Jordan being in the entire kink stuff. I'm not saying he's vanilla by any means, but I can see Mads.
I think Michael would be like he'd be the domineering type if you told him that's what you liked.
But the thing is, though, I'm pretty sure Mads Mikkelsen is a domineering type, even without question.
You walk into his house and it's immediately a sex dungeon.
Like
I would
put I would put Mads Mikkelsen into the movie 50 Shades of Grey, and it would be more believable.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Would actually, absolutely,
yeah.
Like, and I personally believe, like, I can't remember who the guy who played
Jamie Dornan,
Christian Grey.
Jamie Dornan.
Thank you.
What's funny with us talking about this, I was watching a YouTube video before I got on here, and where we were talking about Charlie Hunnam. Charlie Hunnam was actually supposed to play.
No,
Yeah, I know what you're getting at. I just don't think he fits that part. Didn't he get double booked or something like that?
He was super stressed out because of his schedule with Sons of Anarchy and something else that he was on at the time, that he had like a mental freak out and couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't part of it, but also the fans of the book were absolutely vicious to him. They were saying that he wasn't hot enough to play the character, which I think is utter BS.
I mean,
I love Jamie Dornan, but
you
he
can
is
make that
not what I imagined. He is not what I imagined at all.
I respect the opinion on that one, but that's from what you get from the book. I don't think Charlie Hunnam's look is enough to go off of that. Like, he would have to change his look more.
Jamie Dornan was just very cut,
fair.
Straight.
But my point is, having Mads Mikkelsen in that role.
Oh yeah.
That, I mean, the age-wise would kind of make it like a daddy-daughter situation.
That is perfectly fine.
Which is fine. I mean, as long as you're over the age of 18, what you do is your body is your own fucking body. But I would put Mads Mikkelsen in one of the hottest storylines in my lifetime.
Excuse me while I go start my fan fiction.
Yeah, I was going to say, listen, if someone pitched the idea for like a
Nancy, you and I are getting together on this.
Yeah, a 50 Shades of Grey, like style movie, but like it's a Mads Mikkelsen type with the age, and like we can even just age her to make everyone feel okay and safer. We can just age her up just a couple years, but still keep her around the rough same age. that would kill. And also, I would be there for every single movie.
I'd have to rent it and go home.
Yeah, me too.
I can't go see that in theaters. Sorry.
Have I before I officially say my vote, which I think you guys can imagine what it is. Is there anybody that is willing from the Jordan side to change their vote to Matt's?
I'll switch.
Yes.
I'll switch because I'm going back to it of like, because I'm also like, I'll tell you that there's never anything like the voice of my mom is when I find a guy hot, my mom finds a guy hot, I'm sometimes like, oh, and then sometimes like, okay, I made a good decision.
Like I can say, but yes, Bubbles, my vote. That's the reason why I was wanting to wait on that one, because I wanted to pitch my thing here for Mads, because since I was voting last, I couldn't steal a vote, and it's almost worth stealing a vote. So yeah, Mads Mikkelsen gets my vote on this one.
I'll switch over.
And I kind of like the matchup that creates. So
because also now you gave me that idea for him in a 50 Shades of Grey situation. I'm like, ooh.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
You're giving me writing
everybody
material.
Out there listening to the show, you are welcome. The fact that you got that image from me.
I'll share it with you, Nancy. What's your email?
Afterwards, we'll share. We'll start collaborating.
Anyway, Bubbles.
Anyway.
I need a minute.
All right. So this one, we're starting with Jamie. And with this one, it is Heath Ledger versus Ryan Gosling.
Oh, really? I kind of feel like these are two cliche ones that, of course, we had to expect them to be in. I don't mind Ryan Gosling. Don't get me wrong. He's very good looking. I love a lot of the roles he played, stuff like that. But he just doesn't do it for me. He's very boy next door, expected for his looks, expected for his attitude that comes with it. It's just all like, there's no mystery to it. Just feel like he's that everyday boy. And he fits those roles well. Yeah. But
it's funny. I was gonna say, is it sad that I feel like the hottest role he did was playing Ken?
Yeah,
with his blonde hair.
Yeah,
I mean, you'd be wrong, but
it fit him really well. I do have to say, I haven't even seen that movie. I've only seen trailers. Like, well,
it's a good movie. Like I enjoyed the Barbie movie. I really did.
Right, but I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Heath Ledger, because even before the ending to his life and what he was going through at that point, he always gave it his all in his roles, and I feel like that kind of gave him depth to his physical aspect to how he is overall. So I'm gonna give it to Heath on this one.
Nancy.
Yeah, so like I will say Ryan Gosling is the one where sometimes I find him attractive, sometimes not. And I will say that I do kind of enjoy him, especially now. He seems to have found who he is as a person. With like, he's one of those people who like he's always going to be cast as a heartthrob, but really should be more of a comedic presence. Is what I kind of got from the Barbie movie. He's multifaceted, but like that's one of my things. Is I do enjoy him, but I will say that with Heath Ledger, I go back to 10 Things I Hate About You.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say 10 Things I Hate About You was a movie that like is very defining for like, and when I go back and if I have this, because when I write, it's like I often picture like a Heath Ledger type. So like I have to go with Heath Ledger.
We did a 10 Things I Hate About You recasting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested. I would be interested to hear what that would. I'd have to like listen to that.
I don't think I have those notes on me, but No, I have Titanic sitting here. I don't have the other ones. But yeah, that was what, February we did that one, I think.
I think so. Yeah, because it was a love month, a romantic month.
It was a lot of fun though. I enjoyed that. We have another one coming up. We're recording tomorrow. We're doing Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh, I look forward to
Mel
that one.
Brooks. Sorry, I'm a Mel Brooks fangirl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to send you the list of stuff that we have because
leave us alone, Mel.
Our previous co-host is no longer with the show, so that one person is gone from a whole bunch of different episodes we've done. There's only 3 people allowed to do it at one time. Yeah. So if you're ever interested in doing something like that, there's rules that apply to it. I'm not going to get into the show because it's going to take too long. But if you're ever interested in doing that, let me know. I will send you a list of the episodes that we have going out until next February, I think, that we have scheduled out. So we only do it once a month.
Okay.
So there's that.
I'll be very interested to hear your decisions on that one. That was a movie that my brother first showed me. And as I'm sure I've mentioned many times, when I like something, I get super, super hyper fixated on it. So I would just watch it over and over and over and over and over and over and over to the point where it would piss my brother off because we'd be sitting there watching it and I would just quote the whole movie as it was happening.
Shay, not to be weird, but why do I feel like we keep on like meshing?
Yeah.
Because you say that and I'm just like, that's me too.
We're manly men.
Men in tights.
Yes. But yeah. Hold on, guys. I am running out of air. But I have to go definitely with Heath Ledger on that one. As much as I do find Ryan Gosling as Ken very attractive, and I love I'm Just Ken. And if you haven't listened to Pete Davidson's version from SNL, I'm Just Pete, you have to.
I can't listen to I'm Just Ken without then hearing I'm Just Pete and I like jugs.
I'm mentally ill and I'm on drugs. Yeah, I love it. But yeah, I mean Heath Ledger as Joker, man. I mean, that was just you're never gonna come close to something like that again. And I would be more than glad to figure out where he got those scars.
Heath Ledger is moving on, and I'm okay with that. Ryan Gosling, there was a comment made about, I can't remember what movie that Ryan Gosling was apparently the hottest in. I think it was a Barbie movie that you guys were talking about. I disagree with that. I personally think the bearded look in The Notebook, yes, where he's, and as far as the story goes, like he literally rebuilt this house just for this woman that he never knew if he'd ever actually get back with and everything else. So that's a story of dedication, as far as that goes. But the bearded look, a roughneck type thing, like the type of guy that you can imagine him pulling your bitchy bratty ass out of a car, not abusing you, there's a difference, but showing authority enough that to say, you're going to fucking stand here and you're going to listen to me. And if you want to go away after that, you can go away, but you're going to hear me out.
Oh, I will redact what I said about him being hottest in the Barbie movie. The Nice Guys.
I will add another one that's recent, The Fall Guy.
I haven't got to see that one yet, though.
I love his little beard and his little goatee. I'm a sucker for good facial hair.
I'm gonna go for Heath Ledger though, because again, going back to 10 Things I Hate About You, my wife does not like the fact that I put Heath Ledger in this one because he's dead.
He can still be appreciated.
It's like that shouldn't apply. He's dead. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Well, you could be a dead dad, but just not a deadbeat dad, and you should be fine in that type of situation.
Freddie Mercury's my favorite cat dad.
But yeah, Heath Ledger gets my vote.
Well, so that also goes back to if a mother has a stillborn, she's still a mother. So if a father passes away, he's still a father.
Yeah.
Which is the reason that I put him in this bracket. So he was a dad when his child was born.
Yeah.
So he was a dad at least at one point. And he was on the list that I got from by the way, I did not make this list. I just set it out. This is from listchallenges.com. So if you want to blame anybody, blame them.
So I like Ryan Gosling. I think that he is super fine. And I think, don't they have like the Vines or the TikToks where they're like trying to feed him with the spoon and they're like,
yeah, and he keeps like, I love those.
Like, and then he like swats it or like they're so funny. I absolutely love those. His face.
He's more like cute to me. Like, oh, he's really cute.
I love Heath Ledger, and if he was not already moving on, I would probably have voted for him. But I do think that Ryan Gosling definitely deserves a vote because, again, he's fine as fuck. And that Southern accent in The Notebook, yes, please.
He also, like, his personality in interviews has been, like, really fun recently. Like, I'm thinking back to the little cat fight that he and Emily oh my god, why am I blanking on her last name right now?
Emily Blunt.
Yeah, he and Emily Blunt, when they were presenting an Oscar, they were like getting very catty with each other. And like I thought that was hilarious. I think back to they did like a magazine interview with him and Margot Robbie where they gave them the spinners, and he just looks and says, "I hate this," and like smashed it down. And then it looks like what I see before I die. So like I just love that he has this really kind of blunt, kind of deadpan humor that is fantastic.
Yes. Absolutely.
I think he's very much himself in everything.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was just thinking when she said that deadpan humor. And I'm like, kind of reminds me, not as extreme as Ryan Reynolds, but definitely on that same playing field there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So our next matchup is going to be Tom Hiddleston versus Orlando Bloom.
Oh, fuck you, Freddie.
Which one's Tom?
Tom Hiddleston. Loki.
Loki.
Oh, I knew that. Who starts out?
I think it's Nancy.
One second. I turn on a light. The rain clouds have just swooped in, and now I'm about to.
She's getting too excited.
Sorry, I had to get some lights on. Although I feel like I look more creepy now. All right, so it's Orlando Bloom versus Tom Hiddleston. Oh, it's Tom Hiddleston. I was like really into Orlando Bloom back in like Pirates heyday and back when he was Legolas. But I will say that with Tom Hiddleston, I have been into him since the beginning. And like,
God, we
finer.
are kindred souls, Nancy.
I know. I keep on feeling like this is like a Sweat Brothers moment. Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
Yep. But like with Tom Hiddleston, it's just like he's like a fine wine, and he just keeps getting better and better. And I won't say that.
He needs to read me a night.
I don't think that Orlando Bloom has gotten less attractive to me. It's more of as I've gotten older, I look back and I'm like, I don't find him as attractive as I used to, even when he was young. So
I just want him to be a scruffy pirate.
Yeah. I think that was the movie that he was the most attractive in, honestly.
Yes. I was telling Freddie about this last time.
Was that on the show, or is that for
I think
backstage?
we were talking. I think it was backstage. It might have been. I don't remember. But it was like I used to have a poster of Orlando Bloom in my closet, and I was obsessed with him. Like especially in at World's End.
Yeah.
He was just a magnificent specimen of a man.
Oh yeah.
But I have to agree very much whenever I look at the picture of him here. Granted, I feel like in this particular picture we have, he looks a little bit like Pedro Pascal. But I very much have to agree and go with Loki, because again, it was something I was watching today. It was basically of how many of the actors from the MCU are just genuinely good people in real life. Yeah. And it was showing him going out while people were waiting to come in to see him after he had been inside for so long, and went outside and saw the guests and everything. And I love the interview that he did on Graham Norton's, where he does he can do all the different voices, and I'm a sucker for men who can do funny voices.
And Graham Norton brings out a different side in these actors when they're on the show. So I kind of like that you brought that up, because I did see part of that interview, and that was a good interview.
Because he was just doing that. So you've never been on the show. It's part of what I love about all things British and things over with the BBC.
What is happening here?
I think we all can agree we love that BBC.
What is your favorite game show over there?
So I have a really big fondness for the Big Quiz of the Year with Jimmy Carr.
Yes.
I have episodes that I watch on repeat, especially the one where they put Jack Whitehall, who is one of my favorite comedians ever, with James Corden, and those two are just the worst. I also love the teaming of Noel Fielding and Richard Ayoade, because they are hilarious.
Hey, hear me out. Taskmaster.
Yes.
Greg Davies. I'll jump on that, Daddy.
I'm going to go for Orlando Bloom on this one. On every one of the people on the list, I tried to think of the hottest version that I can think of them on either side of them, so they can match up against each other, so they have their best foot forward in my eyes. Tom Hiddleston, the only one I can think of is Loki, and even then, I don't think he's that attractive as Loki.
It's the hair.
I just don't. It's sad. I mean, I can see how people do. I just don't. Maybe it's one of those "it's not for me" type thing. Orlando Bloom, yes, his hottest role is Pirates, especially that third movie. Which is weird, because the third movie is one of the worst movies of the entire series.
And it's my favorite one.
It's mine too.
Well, but that's the same thing for the Back to the Future series. My favorite Back to the Future movie.
Dead, I bawled like a baby.
But I say my favorite Back to the Future movie is the third one. And people's like, that's the worst one. I'm like, I don't care. It's my fucking favorite one. So I can see how people like it. It's just, but I can also see how it's the worst one. Orlando Bloom as a pirate, or Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Between those two, best foot forward, it's Orlando Bloom for me.
I like how you paired that up. I like your thought process on that and how you kind of determined. No, I definitely like Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I am one of those that likes the villain for whatever reason. I mean, the thought that somebody would burn the world for me again comes back to Penn Badgley, where like I want somebody extra obsessed with me.
As long as he knows how to give some space, though. He can
Right?
creep outside the window, but stay out there.
Right?
Be quiet.
Just peer from a distance and let me cool my shit, and then we'll come back together. But like, I
turn the TV up. I can't hear it out here.
There it is. I was waiting on it. I think we killed Bubbles. Actually, it wasn't me. That was Shay. That was like Shay. Shay killed Bubbles.
I like your idea of
Shay
this
popped
you
Bubbles.
too. We popped the bubble. But I would be like, okay, I want you to be super obsessed with me, but like, go over there, bro. You will watch out the window. It's fine. I'll crack the window so you can hear it. I'll turn it up. You ready for the next episode of The Office? All right. Just stay out there.
Oh my goodness. Now, when it comes to these, because I definitely have like Nancy almost like had me with this one too, like with he and his roles and kind of looks like he is aging very, very wonderfully, like a wonderful Leonardo DiCaprio that just keeps getting finer and keeps up with my taste. Oh, yes. And I'm kind of bummed he's not a dad, but if he wants to be, I'm available.
Well, I think he's trying to be a dad.
Yeah, if he wants to be.
Just in a little unconventional way.
I'm open to that completely.
I'm sorry, Bubbles. You're not young enough.
I was trying to be polite, but I wasn't sure if any of us are the right age.
It's okay. I can dream. I can really dream. And then, but again, Tom Hiddleston, definitely aging very well. But Orlando Bloom's been like consistently hot. Like I am also a person of consistency. So I think I'm going to go ahead and also give my vote to Orlando Bloom as well.
I kind of wish I stole a vote now.
Come on, Jamie.
Oh, are we tied?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tie-breaking decision.
Oh, I'm going to create some hate here. I am over it with Orlando Bloom. I really am. But the Pirates, that was my peak timing. I liked him, but not the only reason why I liked him. It just showed a different side to him that I didn't realize was sexier than what I've already seen. So I am.
Well, it's the entire wet. It's the entire wet look. The same thing as what Jason Momoa has.
That might be. But I got a great dad joke. Hold on. In a low-key kind of way. My vote is Loki. My vote is Loki. I am. Yeah, I'm down with that.
That's my husband's go-to joke. Is anytime I say low-key, he goes, "Why are we talking about the Lord Mischief? Why are you bringing him into the house?"
There's something about him that you can see there's a different side to Loki's character, and he does a good job of showing that, but he also does a great job of holding it back. So I feel like for some reason that translates to him in real life. And so definitely I'm not low-key about how I think he's a hottie. He's a hottie, damn it, and I'm going to vote for him.
Also, wasn't like he's supposed to originally be like, he was supposed to just be in the first Thor movie, and then he just keeps coming back?
I think so, but I don't know. I don't know if maybe they didn't realize how much they would need to incorporate him into the actual on-screen stuff. But his character was pretty important still in the comics, so I could see why they're incorporating him. But he did a great job representing that guy.
I think there would have been some hella fan backlash had they not.
True. Woo!
Was this the end of the first half of round 1?
Oh my God.
That's our 8th matchup, which means it is the end of the first half of round 1. We'll be right back right after this break. I don't have an ad. Jamie doesn't have an ad. She's off screen anyway. And Bubbles, I think you're good as well. So there's no ads as far as Bastards goes. I would, however, like to take this spot that I've got to come up with a name for it, but we will be doing like a 5-star review type stuff where if you send in if you give us a 5-star review on like Apple, Google, Spotify, which is what I personally use, stuff like that on whatever podcast you have, and send in a matchup. Whatever next show that we do, we record after that matchup comes in, go ahead and send it to me or one of our other bastards, and they will give it to me. Next show we do, we will go ahead and do it on an ad break. Just for shits and giggles, is our way of shouting out to you guys, our fans, that we are here to listen to you. We do this not only for us, but we do it for you guys as well. And that believe it or not, that 5-star review actually does us more good for getting the word out there about this show. We don't make money off this show. In fact, I spend way too much money on this show as I should. But I love this show, and I hope you guys love this show. And a lot of those 5-star reviews will actually help us in the long run and help us move longer into it and get better equipment and some cool guests and a whole bunch of other stuff too. So our show is actually dependent on you. 5-star review, send it to us. Picture, please. I kind of need the proof. Other than that, Bubbles, it's back to you.
All right. So coming in for the second half of the first round. And with this one, we are going to start with James McAvoy versus Bradley Cooper.
Shay.
Now I'm thinking.
Okay.
Oh, that's a
I
hard
did not
one.
say Shay. I'm sorry. I just was.
No, I remembered.
I didn't. Look.
Dang, that's a really hard one.
James versus who again?
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper. Okay.
So we've got the guy from Split
Woo!
versus Bradley Cooper.
This is a good matchup. So fuck yous, both views, both of yous.
Listen,
Shay,
here.
just so you know, you have to steal a vote and a load if you like to blow.
I think I'm gonna blow my load on this one.
Oh,
Woo!
not a bad one to do it on.
I've got to hear some other opinions.
Shay decided to blow her load on this one, which means it goes to me, of course, Bubbles. James McAvoy versus Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper, the role that I see him in, hotness-wise, probably Limitless.
Yeah.
Where he took these pills or something like that, and it made his brain go like use 100% of the power. James McAvoy, I know this is going to tick a lot of people off because I know people think that he looks the best in the Split series. I think he looks the best in like X-Men First Class. To be perfectly honest, I don't roll for roll though. I think McAvoy has it, but person for person, looks wise, I think Bradley Cooper has it for me. So I'm gonna go Bradley Cooper for my own personal choice on this one.
So that's going to bring that up to me. I enjoyed James McAvoy in Split. Like, I really, really like his character in there, and he just showed so much range in one single fucking movie.
Not me, it's Patricia.
But like, we're talking about DILFs. So like fuckability I'm gonna go with Bradley Cooper.
And Bradley Cooper can sing too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about A Star Is Born, so we're not doing that. That movie, I didn't even seen the movie, and I'm fucking annoyed by it.
I do like that
But,
song though. They did a wonderful job on that song.
I'm thinking about
Shallow.
Silver Linings and
Almost said Swallow.
that movie hits us in a personal way. For the character he portrayed for American Sniper does have to do with the specific battle Matt actually was in. So, and the accuracy and consistency of the events in the movie to what Matt can say actually happened in that moment because he was there. Bradley Cooper did a very, very good job on that. I really liked him. And like he's just not that into you and a couple other kind of chick flick movies. But my most favorite role of Bradley Cooper's for why I'm voting for him for sure, Bubbles, here is because he is the mouthy fucking Rocket Raccoon on Guardians of the Galaxy. You better fucking believe it. That made my whole ass day when I found out he was the voice. So that's my vote.
Freddie, who did you vote for? I didn't take a note of
Cooper.
That. Okay. Thank you. Nancy.
So, I'm agonizing over here because I go back to one, the fact that he's freaking Rocket Raccoon, which I have an unhealthy love for. The best of the Guardians, truly in my mind. And then, but also like attractiveness, I do find him very attractive. But then there's James McAvoy, who like I find him more attractive in some of his younger roles. Like you said, the X-Men First Class, definitely. I'm thinking back to call me a weirdo, but I kind of find him attractive as Mr. Thomas in the Chronicles of Narnia.
I feel that. I definitely watching that. I did have a thing for Mr. Tumnus.
Like I can see like why Lucy liked him, but like he's cutie. He's really cute in that movie. But like, and that's like where I'm agonizing right now because then the one thing that I go over, and this is just a me thing, is I like people by personality too. Is I like to personality definitely sways. I will say that. Bradley Cooper has said a couple things in recent years that have not sat well with me, and that's like the only reason why I kind of want to give James McAvoy a leg up. I think Cooper deserves to move on, but just personal reasons, I'm gonna give it to James McAvoy for the couple of comments that came recently from Bradley Cooper.
And I really don't remember the exact comments, but you bring that up, and I'm not disagreeing whatsoever. That kind of almost made him unattractive. I don't remember what it is that he said. So Bradley Cooper, if you ever hear this, whatever you said then, don't do it again, okay? Bad boy. You're grounded. No, in the corner.
I know one of them was he made a comment about his daughter that it took him 2 years to actually like his daughter. And
okay, but there's women out there that don't connect with their children right away either. So
that wasn't the big one. That wasn't the big one. That was one where it was after he'd already said the other comments, and then he said that, and I'm like, ooh.
Oh, that just topped the cake.
Well, the thing about that though is that speaking from a father's point of view, I can see that.
Yeah.
So
that's
like
the
you don't.
Comment I remember not liking, but that was after the other ones, and I can't.
And
remember
a lot
exactly
of that has to do. A lot of that has to do with jealousy as well.
Yeah.
And you can't control that. You really can't control what you're jealous of majority of the time, because jealousy has a lot to do with like what are the anxiety issues as well.
Yeah.
Because you're always worried about people doing better than you, and if your daughter is taking more of your wife's time type stuff, and obligated because newborn baby, weak, can't really do much for themselves, can't do anything for themselves. taking your wife's time. And if your baby doesn't really bond with you quickly and bond very quickly with your wife, you're not only getting you're not only have to share time with your wife, which granted, after all that stuff happens, your wife needs some time to herself.
Yeah.
But she also needs sleep. So trying to balance that where you want to focus on your wife, but you also want to get some time with your daughter, but your daughter really doesn't want to focus on you because she's already bonded with mom. And a lot of times when the kid grows up a little bit, like not really grows up, but as a baby where they're a little bit more vocal, and you start getting affectionate with mom, the baby has a tendency to tell you no and start crying every time that happens.
Yeah.
So I can see, and about the age of 2 is when the baby starts to realize that we're not going anywhere type thing. So that has a lot to do with the entire jealousy issue, anxiety issues, abandonment issues type stuff. Because what if my wife starts to like the baby more than me? And all of these are complete bullshit. And we know it's bullshit. But
you can't help the way it makes you feel. Yeah,
but it's there. And if you don't talk about it, but by the way, the app BetterHelp, not a sponsor of this show, but I will shout them out. If you're feeling any kind of anxiety, trouble, or whatever, it doesn't have to be big at all. Go talk to somebody, and BetterHelp is probably the best way to go ahead and do that. It's quick, it's simple, it's on your time frame, and the cost really realistically isn't that bad. But going back to the entire 2-year thing, I can understand that. As a dad, I can understand that because I've been through it. Not for the 2-year degree, because I understand the mental aspects on why I felt that way, which made it go a lot quicker. But I wouldn't fault him for it, at all.
I think,
and without knowing the second thing he said, I can't.
I can't remember. It was something. The first comment I just remembered. It was something that he, in recent interviews for the Maestro, he said some comments that were just really uncomfortable for me, and I can't remember exactly what they were. But then that was also around the same time as in the comments about his daughter came out. Where I was like, I feel really weird about you right now. But personal issues.
Now, Shay, you had blown your load, so you get to go last. Has anybody swayed your vote?
So I did really like Bradley Cooper's character Phil in The Hangover. And for what brief little point he was in Valentine's Day, I thought he was like at his hottest there. But I really have to come back to James McAvoy with being in Split, despite how crazy all that was. I loved every second of it.
Wasn't he also in American History X, the younger days, or what other movie was that?
I don't know. And he did really good in it too.
Okay. Yeah, he was in it. I'm trying to think.
He was in that one with Angelina Jolie where he was like a sniper. And I can't think of the name of it.
Wanted.
There we go. He was in that one. And I thought he did phenomenal in that as well.
That is that's another one of the early ones where around that time where I remember being really into him.
So I really feel like I've got to go for James McAvoy in this one.
I can't be mad. You just voted another X-Men through, so I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Like, were we split? Were we already?
This was a split vote, actually. This one, speaking of split, this is a split vote. Oh, goodness. Slightly nerdy.
Dad jokes all day. Dad jokes all day.
Dad jokes all day.
Well, yeah, but which one moved on?
So Bradley Cooper moves on to the next one.
So that's what I had written down. So I'm like, oh.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
All right. For our next matchup, we're going to do Christian Bale versus Jason Momoa.
Oh.
I don't even need to say anything.
I know. I just need to sit there and look. What's up, bud?
As I know Bubbles doesn't do the entire. She's more of a Marvel person over DC, but both of these are DC. So you can't use that as a cop out this time. As an Iowan, it's Jason Momoa. As a straight guy,
Momoa my lawn. Anytime.
As a straight guy, it's Jason Momoa.
I mean, look at that.
As a non-straight guy, it's Jason Momoa. As an actor, it's Jason Momoa. As a comedian, it's Jason Momoa. There's no guidelines here that
I need Momoa of him.
There's no guidelines here that he does not beat out Christian Bale on. He took one of the worst comic book series in Aquaman and made it hot.
Yes, I agree.
And made it a damn thirst trap.
Not only looks wise, but the actual product now. The product. People want to watch Aquaman.
Right. He was usually the one out of the superhero group that nobody wanted to dress up as. And the fact that he also took that role and now he went out looking for the best water for his vodka that he has, that he launched recently. This man, I'm just going to go to the pond right over here. I'm going to a little tap-tap-a-rooney into that pond, and I'm going to signal him to come my way. God damn it, Jason Momoa. Yes. He is definitely.
If you don't know,
I'm sorry.
My vote is Jason Momoa.
If it wasn't, I was going to say I was going to steal your vote.
So I like Christian Bale. I do.
Best Batman, really.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you. Yes.
Not the best Batman.
Who is the best Batman?
Keep this short.
Why am I drawing a blank on his name? The actor, the Batman
Michael
idiot. Keaton, yeah. Keaton is the best Batman.
I respect that.
I can respect that, but I still think
I would say modern Batman. So the best modern Batman, not OG Batman.
Yeah.
They all suck.
My thing is, Bale's a great Batman. He's not good as Bruce Wayne.
Now Ben Affleck is Bruce Wayne.
But I'm not sold on him as Batman. It's my thing. My thing is like all the Batman actors. I can't think exactly which one. All of them. They're either great as Bruce Wayne, not great as Batman, great as Batman, not great as Bruce Wayne, or they're terrible as both if you're George Clooney.
Val Kilmer.
Except for Keaton. Keaton was a master at both of them.
Yes, he was.
Val Kilmer gave more of a strength to Bruce Wayne than Keaton did. But then you put Christian Bale. I don't know. Christian Bale won me over on all Batman.
I didn't think Michael Keaton made a great Bruce Wayne. He made a great Batman to me.
He was okay, but Christian Bale, he just has that dominant part of him that as Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Part of him.
I mean, he's technically not a Batman, but I mean, Will Arnett is good as both.
Yeah, Bubbles, I caught it too.
Yeah.
Shut up.
I mean, listen, I'm all for the dominant part of him. But really, Freddie's absolutely right when it comes to Jason Momoa and all of his things. Plus, Jason Momoa, he's one of those actors. He's not out of touch with people yet.
And he's an Iowan.
There is a whole level of Iowa nice. He comes back home and he's a whole different Iowa nice. I'll have to give him that.
And I liked him. I liked him in Game of Thrones. Definitely, without being said there. So Momoa's got my vote on this one. So
he was also really funny in the latest Fast and Furious movie.
Yep.
I've not seen
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious. I have no desire to.
I do have to say one time that I casually almost ran into him physically being in Des Moines. I knew who he was kind of, but it was before Aquaman really kind of hit theaters, as like when we were talking the buzz of the trailers coming out. And I didn't say anything to him. I'm that type. I don't usually get all crazy over that. But he was extremely nice. Like he held the door open for me and several other people. And he was just like Freddie said, and I said already, Iowa nice. And it is that time of year. My lawn can be mowed anytime, sir. Mow my lawn, please.
Preferably shirtless.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I don't think.
And if you want to be pantless as well,
I don't think ladies or anybody in my neighborhood would be mad at all if you would mow all the lawns with no clothes on. That's okay too. But I'm gonna give it to him because there's something about just how he literally physically holds himself. It's just, it sucks he went up against Christian Bale because I actually would have voted for him, being against a lot of the other guys we've already talked about, but he's going against Jason Momoa, so that's kind of a no-brainer. But he was, for me, the best Batman all around. But sorry, Jason Momoa, Aquaman's going to win this for me. Maybe the whole thing.
Yeah, I think the more I think about all the facets of him and all the layers of him, I have to go with Jason Momoa. With Christian Bale, this is going to sound really weird because it is a voiced character, but for me, the hottest Christian Bale performance is Hal in Howl's Moving Castle. His voice, him as Hal, like that to me, I find that incredibly sexy. I also find that character incredibly sexy. I'm sorry, I'm a weeb. I really love anime.
You are good. That bass in his voice. It's
yeah.
I get you, girl.
And he is just so. And with dub, it's so hard to find an English dub that like they work. Sorry, me and my non-self-awareness.
You're not the only one. Jamie was doing it before too.
But
we're just getting during the show. That's okay.
Him like with anime is when you have English dub, it's so hard to find, like sometimes the voices don't mesh with the characters. Sometimes the voice actors that they pick are perfect, and he was just so perfect for that character. And like that's when I think you say Christian Bale, like that is for me the sexiest is an animated character. But I have to go with Jason Momoa because like he is just like awesome.
That's my baby daddy.
He's fine, girls. He's fine. Salt and Pepper wrote a song about him before he was a big thing. Like he's just fine.
Also, like you brought it up before, is I'm one of those people where I'm a Marvel over a DC, but like I hated Aquaman so much that the original Namor in the comics absolutely hated him because he's just Aquaman and Aquaman's stupid.
Go ride your dolphin somewhere else, man.
And that was like my whole thing. It's both him and the guy they have who now is Namor. They made those characters me actually wanting to like them and me actually liking them as characters.
I've always hated this entire thing against Aquaman because believe it or not, imagine Aquaman as a villain. Okay, Aquaman has
Ursula.
No, because Aquaman has the ability to control water in any form. Correct. The human body is like 90% water.
True.
So if he could just suck the water out of you, like through your pores, and just throw it away off wherever it was, he could dehydrate.
I was gonna say death via dehydration.
People in a
I
second.
was like sitting here thinking Avatar, because I'm so nerdy.
Yeah.
Tara doing
The bloodbenders. Yeah.
I'm picturing.
That's the first thing I thought of too when he said it. I was like, ooh, bloodbenders.
But see that's what I'm saying though. So as far as Aquaman being like the weakest one of the Justice League, if you have him as a villain going against everybody in the Justice League one at a time, having the ability just to pull the water out of you, I don't care who you are. Him as a villain would destroy you quickly.
Now, what about him versus Cyborg though?
Okay, well he's still, there's a lot of water in him because he's a cyborg. He's not fully there.
He still has some human parts.
So if he has like a human brain, for instance, you suck all the water out of that brain or all the liquid out of that brain, you're left with SpongeBob. So Aquaman is a badass. Good thing he's a good guy, because if not, we'd all be fucked.
So this one is ending on a sweep.
Yeah.
I feel like it was definitely earned, Mr. Momoa. If you
Oh yeah.
Look at that face. Just look at it. Oh.
Right? He's been peeking at us this whole time.
I know.
You know, that kind of comes back to, if you want to peek through my window,
yeah, just
be obsessed a little bit. I would be okay with that as well.
Just snuggling up over there,
Yep.
Shay. For all the people in audio land, Jason Momoa has been with us this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our next matchup is Jeffrey Dean Morgan versus Channing Tatum. Who is Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Negan.
Really? Negan.
Oh my god.
Negan, Danny.
I'm like sitting here and
yes, I love you.
Look at the pictures when you sent him out, and I'm like, okay, I look at the name and I'm like, okay, this sounds familiar, but I can't like put a face to this name right now. So like, I was like, okay, I'll just ask. But Negan,
he was also in Supernatural too, if I remember right.
Yeah, he was John. He was their dad, I believe.
And wasn't it was like in Joker or the newer Batman, he was just at the very beginning as Bruce Wayne's dad whenever him and his mom get shot.
Might have been. I don't remember.
I just don't remember which movie it was.
I don't remember, but it sounds right to me, but I can't confirm that.
I remember thinking it looked like him, and then I had to go look it up because I got obsessed.
he also was in Shameless for I think it was only one episode at the end of the season, and then they replaced him.
Yeah. He was Thomas Wayne in the beginning of Batman versus Superman. So Shay, you're right. Dawn of Justice. So I remember seeing him in that too. Go, wait, what?
Oh man, that just that honestly just made this decision a little bit harder, because
I know, right?
I love me some Channing Tatum. Like, I would let him Magic Mike all over me anytime. But honestly, I feel like I like Channing Tatum for his body. I'm not so sure if, like, as he's getting older, I'm still like attracted to him the same way as I did when he was in, I think it was Step Up, like the original or the first Step Up with, and he was with his, like, I think they just got divorced or something. Like
their divorce was officially finalized.
Oh, that's a bummer. But
after 2 years or something.
You know, like, hot take for me, he was gorgeous in, Magic Mike and everything. But the first thing that I saw him in that I was like really like damn about was it was in 2022. It was just called Dog.
Yes. That's one that I'm looking at. He did a great job with that role. I agree with you
He's
fully.
funny too.
In that he brought the perfect blend of serious and funny when dealing with this, getting this dog to where it had to be, and it was just the perfect blend of everything for him.
So, Bubbles, you're a DC versus Marvel type person with Marvel winning. We already discussed Jeffrey Dean Morgan being in Batman, but Channing Tatum has been linked to play Gambit in the X-Men series.
And I love Gambit. Okay.
Interesting.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't either. I'm just saying that he has been linked to it.
Thank you for bringing that up, because now I want to do some research. I don't like it. But...
I do like it, though. I feel like it would fit pretty well, actually. Like, just kind of thinking of the look of the character, the style of the character, the behaviors of the character. Like, Channing Tatum, I think.
He's also, I don't know exactly where he's from, but I want to say he's also from the South. And that was another thing. I may be completely incorrect, but I thought I heard something that Channing Tatum's from the South as well. And that they felt like he could really embody that character. I mean,
I do also. Okay, so let me tell you guys, I'm a little bit of a princess. I'm just saying, I'm going to throw it out there. Okay, like to the point where I do have my lovely husband lift me and twirl me like a princess on occasion. I'm a bit bummed. I have torn a pectoral muscle, and so I have not had the princess treatment in a little bit, and I'm sad about that. But the idea of somebody doing that is fabulous, and it is a great experience if you
like the pick up and twirl, kiss you, hug you, cut that.
Yes, like Ariel and Eric. Okay. I am not confident in Jeffrey Morgan doing that with me. He might. I mean, like I'm. This is just coming.
I just want him to go smash my foe's head with a baseball bat. Really.
Right. I can see it. I don't know. I can see it from Channing Tatum. He's getting my vote. I have decided. I was gonna go ahead and I was gonna blow my load, but I will save that load and go with Channing Tatum.
You're welcome.
My thing is, I'm looking at all these other movies, like Dog. I haven't even seen that whole movie, but I do like him in it. 21 and 22 Jump Street, honestly, were my favorites. He did a great job in The Vow. Your chick flicks for that Dear John. That always got Matt crying, which made me giggle.
Action.
Step Up and everything. He obviously did great. The fun fact, if people don't know that about him, that really is him dancing. He really was a stripper at one point to get through college. I am not.
Well, so was I. That doesn't mean anything.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So me too. Anyways, but I just didn't go to college. Anyways, my thing is that he's a great guy and everything, but I am not impressed by the Magic Mike kind of guys. I do not like them stripper kind of. I go with my friends and I go for the entertainment, and I'm that girl that will make fun of you to your face. I will pay you to get away from me. That is just not my thing. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I don't like fucking Walking Dead at all, but I like him and the other movies that he played in. He's got that older salt and pepper, silver fox, rough man. I feel like if I say, hey, I need you to fix this in my house, he's going to know exactly what to do and what tools he needs. He's just that kind of man. So I'm going to give it, though I don't fucking like Walking Dead, and that's what most people know him for, I'm going to give it to old man, sexy Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
So I will put it out there. I have been kind of a Jeffrey Dean Morgan fan since back when he was on Grey's Anatomy. There's a deep cut there. That's when I first fell in love with him. He was when he played Denny, that broke me on Grey's Anatomy when he was Denny on Grey's Anatomy. Also, so he was in the Gerard Butler, Hilary Swank rom-com P.S. I Love You as Gerard Butler's best friend that his widow, played by Hilary Swank, accidentally sleeps with. Not knowing that it was
accidentally.
Yeah, accidentally. Basically, they sleep together, and then she realizes, oh, you're my husband's best friend.
Oops.
And that whole thing that made me love him even more. And like, I am all on there is that he is one of those older men that I'm just like, I don't see myself as someone who wants a guy with an age gap, but like, he's one of the exceptions. So like, I'm going Jeffrey Dean Morgan all the way.
And see, I'm the type that very much appreciates the age gap and is like, nah, come on, let me have the gray hair. But I love the way that he played the attitude that he had playing Negan would just be very much me as a villain too, of just, well, mind the fuck out of you. So yeah, I'm full on board with Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
And my vote isn't needed, but I can tell you that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is the type of guy that can beat some wholesale ass and laugh in the process. Like that is my vote across the board. Beat some wholesale ass. Channing Tatum. One of my favorite things, I think it was a Twitter post a long time ago, but it's been shared multiple times, was people complaining about dad bods, and it's like Magic Mike sold like $60 million or something along those lines, and they were touting this as like, I don't know how people like dad bods. Channing Tatum, or sorry, Magic Mike sold $60 million, and then somebody else in comments goes, it's like, yeah, but Shrek sold 690.
Yep.
I'm like, you win comments for today there, sir. But yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan gets my vote. Like that wasn't a question.
Now, if we want to switch like Channing Tatum for like Magic Mike wise with Joe
Manganiello.
Yes.
Yo,
I just started watching Deal or No Deal Island. That is a good game show.
He is a beautiful man.
He is. And I'm trying to figure out what his tattoo on his arm says. But
well, so he's a huge comic book nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's also like I got even more attracted to him when I found out he was a D&D nerd. I'm a huge Critical Role fan, and he was on their first campaign with them. So like, Joe Manganiello is one where I'm like, if Joe Manganiello was a dad and it was him versus Jeffrey Dean Morgan, this would be so much harder.
Oh my God, Joe!
In more ways than one.
All day.
Yes.
You said that, and my mind's going to a certain scene in Magic Mike. Oh.
Now I'm just thinking of the one in the gas station.
That made me feel weird. That really.
Oh,
honestly,
I thought it was hysterical.
Embarrassed as fuck watching that. I get awkward for that, but I guess I would be okay with him Magic Mike in my ass. I get really embarrassed easily. Don't know why. But I watched that movie and I blushed. I won't lie.
The thing is, though, is that them two are not even my favorite person in Magic Mike. My favorite person in Magic Mike is Fluffy.
Yes. Okay, did you hear about him? And I think it was his girlfriend at the time, and she was watching with him, and she turns to him saying, "Were you trying to play that character gay?" And he was like, "No."
That's exactly something that Gabriel Iglesias would do unintentionally, though.
I love Fluffy so much. Me and my husband it is one of the few comedians that both me and my husband adore is Fluffy.
Yeah, wife and I is the same way. My favorite bit of his is the entire racist gift basket storyline. And for everybody out there who hasn't heard, look up, go out and Google Gabriel Iglesias or Fluffy will come up either way. And the words racist gift basket. It's the best probably 10 to 15 minutes that you will hear all day long.
I love the with the cops theme song. You're not gonna ask me about my weed.
I love when he's talking about his bus driver, and he had it's one that makes me and my husband crack up. But it's when he talks about his bus driver and he had all of his friends in the back, and then the bus driver put up the divider and then yelled over the intercom, "I'm building a wall!" And that's one of my favorite like whole bits with him is going into him and his bus driver.
Oh my goodness! So
that's another guest on this show I would love to have. Just saying.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan is going to be moving into the next round. Our next matchup is going to be Brad Pitt versus Ian Somerhalder.
Which one's him? Who? Ian who?
Ian Somerhalder
Vampire
was
Diaries.
Damon in Vampire Diaries. Black hair, blue eyes. He was also briefly 12 episodes of Lost. He was in the first season of Lost and was one of the first people to die.
In your list, if you can find it. Your phone got screwed
right
up.
Next
But he's between Joseph Morgan and Orlando Bloom. Really should be.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I can still pull it up on the other. But okay.
I don't have a strong opinion on either of those. Surprisingly.
I do, but it's for a different reason. Which I'm not going to share. I'm just going to wait till he moves on.
I have recent opinions. I have recent opinions.
So
anyway,
who's the voter?
Who's starting?
I think it's Jamie, right?
Jamie's
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I do think Brad Pitt's a great looking guy. He's been a great actor for a lot of roles that I've seen him in. But I'm not just voting against the fucking crowd because of it being Brad Pitt. I'm voting against the crowd because I am tired of Brad Pitt. And I'm sure Brad Pitt's tired of Brad Pitt. So let's give him a break and let's vote the other way.
I don't think you're voting against the crowd there, Jamie.
What?
I don't think you're voting against the crowd.
Okay, well, I mean, not this crowd necessarily, but, just women in general. Women bring up, their guys, the comparison shit is Brad Pitt. No need.
I still don't think you're going to, but if you put these two against each other and pretty much majority of the female population, is not going to be Brad Pitt winning this.
Oh, well then, hey, I guess I am joining in the crowd. If you ain't for Brad Pitt, whoop, whoop, let's go.
So, as I stated before, I do really like looking into a lot of these celebrities' personality as well, and that will often sway me. I'll first put it out there is I might have some bias is I do like a dark-haired guy with blue eyes over a blonde guy with blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I do like darker hair. I do think that is even Ian Somerhalder at his height as Damon was still probably on par with Brad Pitt at his hottest role for me, which was Fight Club. But here's the real reason why I'm going for Ian Somerhalder. Brad Pitt, for me, is one, as he's gotten older, I don't see the appeal as much as he's gotten older. And two, especially as we're hearing more and more of the Julie Pitt kids speaking out. And this is a dad I'd like to F bracket. And we talked about it's better to be a dead dad and a deadbeat dad. I have to go with Ian Somerhalder because I feel like Brad Pitt is might, if to go off of anything coming out from his children and his children's behavior, I have this sinking suspicion that Brad Pitt might be a terrible father. And I
We can't get behind that.
I can't get behind that, and especially in this bracket, I cannot. So I have to go with Ian Somerhalder.
See, I will disagree with you in part that I think he looks better as he's gotten older, but that's just because I like older guys. Like him in Inglourious Bastards, I thought was just like
he was good in that one. I'm more of talking like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I felt like Leo was the more attractive of the two of them.
I still
Just Leo.
Also, I'm biased because
but
Leo,
see, again,
I will put it out there. No disclaimer. I hear every day from old women at the supermarket when I'm shopping for my husband. Have anyone ever told you look like a young Leo? So I'm probably biased with Leo. Because apparently I married his doppelganger. I don't see it.
But I very much agree with like, the kind of like, looking into the celebrities. How are they with their fans? How are they as a person? And if they are genuinely good people, that makes a big difference on me. And I don't know diddly squat about Ian Somerhalder. Besides, he has a jawline for days. And
he gave up acting to be a dad too. That recently came out. That he said he'd rather his wife continue her acting career than he continue his.
The picture of Brad Pitt is very pleasing to look at. But as someone with a piece of shit deadbeat dad, I'm gonna go with Ian.
Deadbeat dad aside, I'm gonna go with Ian anyway for future reference.
Just for future.
And Bubbles knows why.
Oh boy.
We might want to, get to moving along. I didn't realize we were going 2 hours strong on round one.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So
sorry.
I'm going to give one to Brad Pitt. He is very good to look at. I'm glad that Ian's moving forward, but I think Brad Pitt needs one vote. It's a pity vote.
Give him the pity vote. He deserves a pity vote. I can't get behind him in this bracket.
You have your reasons. We understand.
I have my reasons. It's the fact that when you have all three of his daughters drop his last name, and then his son on Father's Day like absolutely tears into him. It's a big question mark in my head where I'm like, ooh.
Nah, I can get behind them kids. I'm like, I got you. Do it, man.
So our next matchup is our play-in matchup. Freddie, I'm not sure if I'm doing this right, so
You mean go ahead and take care of it? All right. I'm going to go ahead and have Nancy start this off real quick. Nancy, as a play-in matchup, is it going to be Joaquin Phoenix or Josh Duhamel? Or Duhamel, or how the fuck you pronounce it?
Duhamel?
You said it right.
Is it are you talking about the one that like they always confuse for Timothy Oliphant?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the reason why Josh is in here, Josh was number 33. Joaquin being number 32 as far as ranking goes, which means the person that's end up facing in the actual round one is going to be number one ranked out of this entire thing. Josh Duhamel wasn't actually on the entire list that List Challenges gave me. However, when I did this for bracketology, he was the poster child for the actual bracket, and there's no way. And I didn't make the list before I didn't check the list before I checked who was a poster on it. So I can't put somebody who's not in the bracket as a poster for the bracket. Like it would just be kind of a bait and switch. So that's the reason why Josh Duhamel is actually on this particular one, but he is a dad, and I personally think he's a poster child for it. But it's either him or Joaquin Phoenix.
Going with Josh.
Josh gets a vote. I am also going with Josh on here for everybody who have seen the pictures on there on the list. Josh Duhamel is, I can see it with Timothy Oliphant, whatever she said. I can see the matchup, how they look alike, almost like brothers in a weird way. But I think Josh Duhamel looks better than he does.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, check out the show Buddy Games. It's on NBC or one of those type things. It's a very, very fun fucking show. It's a it's not considered it's a reality show, but it's also kind of a game show. It's more of a type thing. I'd consider it a reality show. But Josh Duhamel gets my vote. Bubbles, is it Josh Duhamel or Joaquin Phoenix?
So for my vote on this one, I am going with Josh Duhamel. Joaquin Phoenix is just not my flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's same here.
I think Morbius killed it for me with him.
Yeah.
Just me. Jamie, Josh Duhamel, Joaquin Phoenix.
I think I was on the Josh train when I first saw him engaged to Fergie. Like, they make a fucking hot couple. Oh my God. My ex-husband used to always make jokes about Fergie, so I always joked about taking Josh off of her hands so she could be with him. And that's still the case to this day, sir. I love Joaquin Phoenix though, and Walk the Line. And I love him.
Amen.
He did an amazing job on both the roles. When he does a role, he really encompasses it, and I appreciate that with him. But if I'm going for, I seen Josh interact with his kids and just how he was outside of his roles before I saw him in a lot of movies. So that my introduction to Josh was a little different, and I saw him as a dad first, I guess, before I saw him in movies. That's where my vote's at.
And Nancy, finish this one out. Is Josh Duhamel or Joaquin Phoenix?
I'd already gone.
Who did I skip?
Shay.
Oh, why did I do that? Shit, I do apologize. Shay.
If we're going purely off look wise, I have to go Josh Duhamel, but for like overall acting, I would say Joaquin Phoenix, but just because he's a pretty face to look at, I'll say Josh Duhamel.
All right. I do apologize about that, taking over for that one. Was that the only one you were having trouble on their bubbles, or?
Yeah, because I wasn't sure which way that went. So thank you. Okay. I appreciate you.
All right.
Okay. So Josh Duhamel takes that one. That, you know what's so crazy, because like as far as like saying the name,
Duhamel. Let's just go with that, Duhamel.
That's not how it's written either. Duhamel.
I like it either way. Just Josh.
Yeah, I like it either way, but it just makes me laugh.
Joshua.
Now with this one, and we're gonna be starting with Shay on this one. He is going up against Chris Evans, so we got Captain America.
Okay.
He's a dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was surprised too.
No, wait. So it's who against Chris Evans?
Josh Duhamel.
Oh, Chris Evans all day.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the ambassador of our lingerie company.
Yep.
Yes. So, yes, the A-team.
Yes. So the alpha titties. So.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
I mean, I talk about it every chance I can. I mean, really.
Absolutely.
We've got to get supporters. So. And,
no pun intended.
Yeah. And if he can just come up from behind and just hold him, that'd be great. But in my journey of watching all of the like Infinity Saga in order, I did not think that I was gonna like just Captain America, but the first Captain America is probably now like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And he is just
was so cute.
The only thing that makes me laugh anymore is at the end of Endgame, whenever he's sitting there old on the bench, it looks like Joe Biden is sitting on the bench.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one. That was literally my thought too. In the theater, it was like, Joe Biden?
They just have him come sit in for that?
I'm gonna go with Josh Duhamel on this one. One, because I think it's funny when Bubbles mispronounces it, and two, and I say that because I mispronounce names all the time, and people give me shit for it. So it's kind of fun to watch somebody else fuck up names. And it's probably because I did spell it wrong on the list, and I'm terrible at spelling names. But the fact that you don't know who Josh Duhamel is,
it's pronounced Facilier.
Hey, I pronounced that right.
You did pronounce it right. You did really well on that.
But Josh Duhamel, like I said before, when you look up either Hollywood Dads or D.I.L.F or something like that, one of the first images that comes up is Josh Duhamel, because Josh Duhamel is not only a hot dad, like a beautiful looking guy you can start with, but he's a poster child to being a dad. All the stuff that he does in the background and stuff like that, he is a dad and extremely hands-on about it. I didn't even know Chris Evans was a dad. I just didn't until I made this list, and it turns out that he's number one. Well, actually, he's number two, because Pedro Pascal was number one, but he's not an actual dad. So Josh Duhamel gets my vote because, again, poster child.
I'm just saying, Chris Evans had my heart from Not Another Teen Movie when he walks out and he's got himself a banana.
Janie Briggs got a gun.
Like, that was the first time I was like, so my vote is actually going to go ahead and go to Chris Evans.
I was going to say the same thing Shay started off with, is like, we had discussed Chris Evans being a very important factor amongst our Bracket Bastard group here. And with Alpha Titties, I would like to speak on the behalf of us as a company that we would love to have Captain America be hands-on during that process, and all the support that he can give us. All the dad jokes, Shay, thank you. All of the dad jokes intended. But I do agree with some of what Freddie said, but I'm going to give it to Captain America. I'm going to give it to him.
He's here to support the ladies.
Amen.
I gotta give it to Captain America. I gotta give it to Chris Evans. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
With that, Chris Evans is going to be facing somebody else in a 4-1 mashup as well.
I like how you did that. Like, I'm sitting there going, she's going to reveal it. Then you just swish it.
All right. So moving on, our next matchup is going to be Sam. Is it Chafflin? Is it Chafflin?
Chafflin.
I think it's Chafflin.
Who the hell is that?
Yeah. He was Finnick O'Dare in the Hunger Games. He was.
Wait, who was he in the Hunger Games?
Finnick. In Catching Fire.
Which picture is he?
So he's the one.
He's in between Christian Bale and Chris Hemsworth, okay. I think.
The young Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
I know of a bunch of other movies he was in, but all I have is Hunger Games and Me Before You.
Yes, Me Before You. That was it was weird because that was the first one that came to my mind when, like, I saw his picture. I was like, oh, hey, I know who that is. And I was like, I feel like I should have known him from Hunger Games.
He's also he's in the series Daisy Jones and the Six, and he was in the miniseries. Oh my gosh, my mind is going. It was a miniseries that I know him from first. That was about building a chapel, and it had Eddie Redmayne, and it had Haley Atwell, and it had like an amazing cast. But like that's the one that I think of with him, and I can't remember its name right now. But it's about building a chapel in England.
So,
sorry, nerd.
Who is Sam against?
So Sam is against Andrew Lincoln, which is Rick Grimes from Walking Dead.
Looking at the board, I'm voting first, right? My count's off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking. I'm voting first. Looking whoever wins his faces in the next round. I want the next round to be a sweep as much as possible, so I want to lead a goat up to slaughter. I'm gonna go Lincoln on this one. Just because I don't care, and two, the next opponent, which if it's a tie-breaking decision would and that person once it revealed is allowed to do that, would just be a lamb. So I'm gonna go Andrew Lincoln.
I mean, you do have a very fair point.
Yeah, exactly.
However, I am not a fan of Andrew Lincoln. I am not attracted to him, and I just can't ethically vote for him, I guess, since we are thinking DILF here. So Sam Claflin is who I am. Sam Claflin. That's who I'll go with.
Finnick.
Yeah, let's go Finnick O'Dare.
So this is the Henry Cavill lookalike, and who?
Andrew Lincoln.
Andrew
Lincoln.
Rick Grimes from Walking Dead.
I saw that. No, we're gonna go with the Superman lookalike because he just looks really adorable. He just got a mystery and a boy next door mixed to him, so I'm here for it.
I feel like if Penn Badgley and Henry Cavill had a baby, that would be him.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
He also has like he also kind of like you see him. He has like strawberry blonde hair too, and he's like really, yeah. But no, I'm going with Sam. I'm going with Sam all the way. Like I said, I've been a fan of him for a long time. Even before he was announced in Hunger Games. So I'm gonna go with him.
I honestly don't care who wins this matchup.
It's not
gonna be slaughtered next round.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Sam because he's cuter.
I also like I said, I never really got into Walking Dead. I only know Andrew Lincoln from Run Roll. That as I've gotten older, the role went from being like aw in a rom-com to being like ooh.
Red flag.
Yeah, it's Love Actually. His character in Love Actually went from being like when I was young and a teenager, like oh that's so sweet, to now I'm like oh that's a huge red flag. No sir.
Let's hear this next one, Bubbles.
All right. So our next matchup is going to actually be a Marvel matchup. We got Robert Downey Jr. versus Mark Ruffalo. And I am so sorry. Who's next?
I am.
Okay.
No. Bubbles is.
Okay. So again, I like Mark Ruffalo. I liked him in 13 going on 30.
Yes.
Thought him.
That was the first thing I saw him in.
Yeah, I thought he was just so adorably cute. Like
and local West Virginian Jennifer Garner.
And yeah, so I think he's just kind of cute. Whereas Robert Downey Jr., like, I'm not gonna lie, I was totally not into him in his like younger days, but like as he got older, like
When he made his Tony Stark transformation.
Yes, and then just kind of hearing his like recovery story and things like that. I dig that. I love like it's almost like a happy ending in a way. I can get behind that. So my vote is going to Robert Downey Jr.
I don't disagree with that. I really don't. But to be honest with you, there's something about Mark Ruffalo and what he did for the Bruce Banner character for me. I mean, I am an angry person most of the time. But the funny thing is that seeing just that little bit of trailer for Poor Things, the look where he gets slapped and he just goes, "Ow!" That it cracked my world up. There's something about the faces he can make with just an everyday thing that I'm like, you know what? He is very real in those roles to me when he does that kind of stuff. So I do really enjoy Robert Downey Jr. I enjoy the comeback. I enjoyed his roles too when he wasn't doing very well. Obviously not. I don't support him doing dumb things, but we all have our past. We all own it. And it seems like he's really grown from it. And he knows that character he's played with Iron Man is a big deal to a lot of people. And I love how he embraced it. And my dad and I were just talking about it the other day. Robert Downey Jr. made Iron Man, period. But that's not where my vote is. It's going to be for Mark Ruffalo.
And he's also a relatively accomplished singer-songwriter as well.
Yes.
That the other day.
Woo! Forgot about that.
So yeah, going back off of I just remember like someone who's like a bit of a comic book nerd and stuff is Tony Stark in the comics is not the Tony Stark in the movies. Tony Stark in the comics is douchebag. That's my opinion. If people disagree, it's just my opinion.
He's a douchebag in the movies too.
But he's a different type of douchebag.
He's still a douchebag.
Like a more lovable douchebag.
In the movies, there's a redemption arc. In the comic books, it never felt like there was redemption for him. He just constantly continues to just have his behavior. And really a lot of it is he was able to grow and like have that snarkiness and be that snarky narcissist hero, but still be lovable in the movies. And we owe that completely to Robert Downey Jr. making it him. The MCU rides on the shoulders of Robert Downey Jr. I will say the more that I've been thinking on it though, if this was me like picking someone as a partner, I love Robert Downey Jr., but I would pick Mark Ruffalo. I think Mark Ruffalo just he definitely has like that goofiness. He's also like just I really have to like I just would kind of pick him over Robert Downey Jr. And that's just my personal opinion. But I still will say that Robert Downey Jr. the MCU success is owed to Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau and Kevin Feige. Those are the three people that they need to be thanked, and I will give Robert Downey Jr. points all day.
I also liked him in Due Date.
Yeah, he was. I love him in the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes films. Mm-hmm. I love those films so much. Mm-hmm. Not many Americans can really pull off British accents to a point where like you can forget for a second. I won't say his British accent is perfect, but I love him as that character.
But it wasn't awful. So like oh my gosh, I can't think of his name, but he played Dexter. A show on
Michael C. Hall?
Yes. He did a show on Netflix where he had to be he was a British person, and I couldn't watch it.
Yeah.
It was a little bit painful.
No, that's my thing with British is like when you have someone doing an accent and they just can't nail the accent, that just takes me completely out of it. And when I heard that he was playing Sherlock Holmes, I was nervous, but he just does that character so well.
I'm sorry, Nancy. Did you pick Mark Ruffalo or Robert
I
Downey?
picked Mark Ruffalo. I kind of like personally I like him a little bit more, but like yeah, I still had to give Robert Downey Jr. some props.
And moving down to Shay.
So for me, the first thing that I saw Robert Downey Jr. in was randomly on HBO back in the day, in a movie called In Dreams. I sent a picture of him in it in the chat, and it would take forever to go into the backstory, but it's a movie I greatly suggest everybody watch. He's great in it. And I feel like Robert Downey Jr. would be that person that has that softer side, but also has that snarkiness to keep up with what I would need them to keep up with. And I cried like a baby whenever he died in Endgame. I was heartbroken. So I'm going all the way with Robert Downey Jr.
And that ties it up for Friday.
Mark Ruffalo moves on 3-2.
Oh, fuck you, Freddie.
Look how fast it was. You're just like
Next.
next. And so I kind of see Jamie in the background there. She's going to go and she starts us off with this next one.
One last thing, because maybe someone knows this movie. There's a movie I had to watch for my film course in college that like had Robert Downey Jr. I can't remember the name of it, but it was he was one of the minor characters. I think Michael Douglas was the main character, and it was I think he was in a queer relationship with a drag queen, and he did amazing in that movie. And I cannot remember the name of the movie. It's a fantastic movie, and everyone in the movie does phenomenal work. If someone knows what the movie is, I know it had Michael Douglas in the main role, had Robert Downey Jr. I might have had a young Katie Holmes, but I might be mistaken.
Wonder Boys?
I think that's it. Yeah. That one is a really good movie and a really good performance of him.
All right. And Jamie, our next matchup is Johnny Depp versus Matthew McConaughey.
Oh. All right. I like him, and I liked him before everybody else made a big fucking deal out of him, Matthew McConaughey, but I'm kind of bored with it. I'm also overplayed on everybody in the Johnny Depp stuff, but I have to say the reason why I'm voting for Johnny Depp is for What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and that's all I'm going to say.
I'm thinking this over. So as I like Matthew McConaughey, I think he's funny and he's cute, but like going back as a theater kid and as like a former emo theater kid, I feel like I have to go with
Sweeney Todd, man.
Sweeney Todd. He was Sweeney Todd. He was Barnabas Collins. He was Edward Scissorhands. He was Victor from Corpse Bride. He was the emo theater kid's like
wet dream.
Wet dream, yeah. Like, so I feel like I have to go with Johnny Depp.
So my dad first showed me Sahara that Matthew McConaughey was in. I had the biggest crush on him there because I loved any kind of movies that were like treasure hunting. Like I was obsessed with
Fool's Gold. I believe he's in that one too, and that was a similar one.
And I was obsessed with Tomb Raider growing up too, but I have always had unwavering love for Johnny Depp, Captain Jack Sparrow, Sleepy Hollow, everything. So 1000% Johnny Depp all the way.
It's 1000% Matthew McConaughey for me on this one. I have nothing against Johnny Depp. I really have. We've given our unwavering support with him on the show during this entire herd situation that's going on. However, I've never really seen Johnny Depp out there doing dad things with his kids, in like the dirt sheets and stuff like that. I've seen Matthew McConaughey out there doing sports and stuff with his kids, and in fact, the quote that I have at the end of today's show is actually Matthew McConaughey, one of his quotes. So, just out of respect for that, I'll give it to him.
I love me some Johnny Depp. I love his range. I love he can go into any role. I love that he's moving forward. But I am kind of with Freddie on this one. If we're thinking on the dad side, I think Johnny Depp had spent a lot more time on his career than he did being a dad. Whereas Matthew McConaughey, I think he definitely balances that dad career life pretty decently. So I am also going to go with Matthew McConaughey on this one. And that is the last one for the round one.
All right. Looks like the only non-bachelor we have today is actually Nancy. Nancy, what you been up to?
Just basically mom life over here. I do have my husband and I. We are going to relaunch his podcast soon. He's on hiatus, but eventually I will have an episode. That'll be the first episode back from hiatus. Is me. But yeah, just right now, just trying to finally, for the first time in my life, finish a novel. But yeah, that's it.
Nice. Bubbles, I'm going to take round 2, shave some time off from you, and then give it back to you on round 3 and beyond. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, we're back for round 2. It looks like Nancy starts us off on this one. Nancy, is it Chris Evans or Hugh Jackman?
Gonna go with Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman gets a vote on this one. Shay?
Chris Evans.
I'm gonna go with Hugh Jackman on this one. Again, huge Jackman. Makes me laugh every time. Chris Evans, I still think Josh Duhamel should have won that previous matchup, but he didn't. So Hugh Jackman gets my vote. Bubbles, is it Hugh Jackman or Chris Evans?
Chris Evans.
Chris Evans gets another one. It is a tie game, going back and forth, which means Jamie finishes that on this one. Jamie, tie-breaking decision. Is it Chris Evans or Hugh Jackman?
I just think that this worked out beautifully because it's going to be Logan.
Logan gives a vote. Hugh Jackman moves on to the next round. 3-2. Shay starts us off. Shay, is it Tom Hardy or Mad Mikkelsen?
Oh, Tom Hardy. All the way. Give me some Mad Max.
Tom Hardy gets a vote off this one. Mad Mikkelsen gets my vote, as I said before, with the entire 50 Shades of Grey reboot type stuff. And to be perfectly honest, if we did a recasting of the modern day movies, Mad Mikkelsen will be getting the Christian Grey treatment. I'm just putting that out there right now. Gets my vote. Bubbles, is it Mads Mikkelsen or Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy.
Gets another one. Jamie.
And my Jamie fashion, what's my choices again?
Mads Mikkelsen or Tom Hardy?
Oh, Venom. Oh, I am Venom. I mean, I want to do Venom. I mean, I vote for Venom.
Venom gets a vote off of that one. Nancy, finish us out. Is it Mads Mikkelsen or Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy, all the way. All the way.
4-1. Tom Hardy moves on to the next round. I start this one off. Freddie, is it Chris Hemsworth or Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I appreciate Chris Hemsworth and his roles and everything else, but
we love you.
Freddie, is it? Well,
you made us all giggle at the same time. Not your season opener to anything. Listen.
I appreciate Chris Hemsworth, I really do. But if you're going daddy mode, somebody that, not to get too terribly quaint on this one, I would call daddy in certain particular situations, is Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Like, he is the person that when you say, instead of saying yes sir or yes daddy,
yes daddy,
it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I can't say anything about that. He gets my vote. Bubbles, Jeffrey Dean Morgan or Chris Hemsworth.
I am also going to go for Jeffrey Dean Morgan on this one. I do like the older Silver Fox vibe.
Gets a vote, Jamie.
Jeffrey against who?
Chris Hemsworth.
That's what I thought. I was like, wait a minute. Why am I thinking of something different? I did not vote for Chris last time. He did deserve the damn credit that man has earned. And so this time I will go ahead and vote for him. It's not against Jeffrey Dean Morgan by any means. It's just giving Chris some love.
Gets a vote. Nancy, is it Jeffrey Dean Morgan or Chris Hemsworth?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan for all the same reasons you said.
My vote is also for Daddy. Daddy Morgan.
He's called on fan fiction often Daddy Negan. And like I see that tag all the time on an AO3 is Daddy Negan.
Well, I'm not going to write that down. It's just going to be JDM for this one. Moves on 4-1 to the next round. Next up, Bubbles starts this off. Is it Joseph Morgan or Ian Somerhalder?
Oh, I love this pairing.
You know what? Fuck us. Because we did this to ourselves. We definitely did the whole like Vampire Diaries and spin-off mashup here.
Yeah, I did this shit on purpose.
You know what? And it's so hard because these are both those villains burn the world for the girl. Like, as far as like seeing, I don't think I've really seen Ian Somerhalder with like his kids. Not that I haven't seen like pictures of their family or anything, but I think I've seen more from Joseph Morgan. So that's who I'm going to go with.
Joseph Morgan gets a vote off of this one. Jamie, is it Ian or Joseph Morgan? I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name again. I fucked it up already once.
So it sounded like you were getting ready to say Ian Holden something. And that's like, I would vote for him just for that name, but I actually am still attached to Joseph just a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, a lot of bit. That's my vote.
Joseph gets a vote off of that one. Nancy, is it Ian Holden something or Joseph Morgan?
Just give me a second to mute my phone because I didn't realize that my sound was on for my phone just ringing just now. If that caught up on audio, I apologize to everyone.
It didn't actually. I didn't catch it.
Okay, thank goodness because I have an embarrassing ringtone.
Was it those seals?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's what that was.
Yeah, that was my phone. I apologize. But no, it's gonna be Joseph Morgan because Joseph Morgan all day, baby. Also, like, there's a line he says in Vampire Diaries that just like is like makes me like so happy, and it's like, I may not be your first love, but I will certainly be your last. It's like, oh. Sorry. I'm in love with Joseph Morgan, so Joseph Morgan all the way.
Shay, is it Ian holding something or Joseph Morgan?
It's not really going to matter, but it's holding something for me.
Right where it matters. That's all.
It's also holding something for me as well. There was a TikTok, Facebook video, one of those things about talking about villains, and apparently this Chinese dad or Japanese dad, I'm sorry, somewhere out east, asked his future son-in-law about being a good guy for his daughter, and if he was a good guy, and the guy replied, "I'm not a good guy," because a good guy would, faced with the decision of having the ability to save the world on one hand or save the woman he loves on the other, morally would save the world. I, however, would gladly watch the world burn and piss on the ashes if it means that I can sleep another night alongside the woman I love. And every time I see that, especially the way the guy portrays it, is goose pimples across my entire body. And especially last week, because we were talking about Disney villains, and it's just about the entire being misunderstood and stuff like that. So,
and still, screw you, Hopper.
I haven't finished that backstage yet, editing that one, but it's delicious so far. Although my audio was screwed up, and I apologize about that because it's going to put a damper on the entire thing because I was using my headphone instead of my actual headset. So it's going to be a weird thing. Anyway, Joseph Morgan moves on to the next round. Jamie starts us off on this one. Jamie, is it Bradley Cooper or Ryan Reynolds?
I start this one?
Yep. You do start this one.
Wow. Absolutely Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds gets an opening vote off of this one. Nancy, is it Ryan Reynolds or Bradley Cooper?
Oh, Ryan Reynolds. Deadpool, all the way.
Gets another one, Shay.
Chimichangas.
Gets a vote and the current win off of this one. I'm going to give it another one off of that one. Bubbles finishes out. Ryan Reynolds, Bradley Cooper.
Oh, this one's easy. I love Bradley Cooper, but Ryan Reynolds, again, I'd bend over backwards and do pretty much whatever he asks.
Ryan Reynolds moves on 5-0. Moves on to the next round. And I do appreciate the matchup that created.
I am so upset about it, if I'm going to be honest. Like, fuck us, but at the same time, it works out, and yeah.
It does. It works out famously. Nancy starts us off. Nancy, is it, I'm going to mispronounce this, and I apologize, Sam Chafflin or Jason Momoa?
Oh, I mean, I hate to do this to Finnick, but Jason Momoa, man.
You don't need me to say it.
I'm aware of that. I was going to skip you anyway. Shay is going to go for Jason Momoa on this one as well. I'm also going to go for Jason Momoa, but I made a comment last round about voting. I don't care who wins this because whoever does move on, I just want it to be a complete slaughter to be that next matchup being, and that's what it turned out to be so far. Jason Momoa, again, those 5 points I listed before, across the board, beats out pretty much everybody. Gets my vote. Bubbles, is it Jason Momoa or Finnick?
It's going to be Momoa, but I'm very sad that Finnick is out of here, but it's okay. It's all right.
Jamie, do we have a sweep?
Yep.
5-0 moves on to face another 4-1 in the next round. Shay starts us off. Shay, is it Mark Ruffalo moving on 3-2 or Heath Ledger 4-1?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger gets an opening bid off of that one. I don't care because I know who's facing in the next round. I'm going to go for Heath Ledger as well. Bubbles.
I'm also going for Heath Ledger in this one.
3 and out off of that one. Jamie.
Let's see. Kind of like he once said, I don't have to get angry when I'm always angry. Over Heath Ledger, yeah, really. I'm taking.
I don't blame you. It was kind of a tough decision on my part too.
No, right?
Nancy, finish this out.
I am. I think based on the people's votes, maybe I'm wrong. Is it who's in the lead right now?
Heath Ledger went 3 and out.
Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna say I'm gonna vote for Mark Ruffalo because Heath Ledger's moving on anyway, and I do really like him. I do really love him. He's done a lot for Hulk, and yeah, I'm gonna go with Mark Ruffalo.
Heath Ledger moves on 3-2 to the next round. I start this one out and finish out round 2. And I didn't actually move him up to the next round, to the last round. It's either Tom Hiddleston or Loki versus Johnny Depp.
Ooh.
I hate this entire corner. I do, because realistically, I don't want either one of them moving on, but I also don't want the person who they're facing in the next round to move on. So I'm kind of fucked.
Oh, boy.
But I really hate to use the term you people, but I know how you people are. Both of these moved on 3-2 to the last round, so I can't even say which one has a bigger opportunity to lose to the other one, which also moved on 3-2 from the last round. You know what? In honor of Vanessa, who has a cat, and her cat is named after Loki, I will be going for Tom Hiddleston on this one. Gets my vote. Bubbles. Is it Loki or Johnny Depp?
So with this one, so kind of like we were discussing last round, like Tom Hiddleston is just kind of getting a little bit better looking as age goes on. Johnny Depp has been good looking for a while. Honestly, I think I would rather see Johnny Depp move forward with all of his versatilities, I guess. I haven't seen Tom Hiddleston in so many things, so it's kind of hard to do like a good enough comparison. So, but I am going Johnny Depp on this one.
Johnny Depp gets a vote. Jamie, it is your vote, but one of your friends who is supposed to be on one of your friends who's been on the show in the past once said, if I remember right, Johnny Depp looks like he sleeps in cat pee.
Yeah.
I think you can guess who said that one. Is it Tom Hiddleston or Johnny Depp?
It's my fellow girl right here. So I really appreciate some Loki, and he does get better with age, like wine. Johnny Depp has been good looking for a long time. He still is, but it's not the same. I don't think it's the cat pee or the poop that he was sleeping in either. But what's eating Gilbert Grape is the fact that people don't remember how amazing he was in that movie alone. So I'm going to vote for Loki. I didn't even know which way I was going until I said it.
I didn't know you were going either. By the way, Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie What's Eating Gilbert Grape as well was wearing an Ottumwa High School shirt.
Yep.
Which is the high school that I graduated from.
Yeah, and they shot most of that or some of that in Iowa at least. Most of it, like the house burning, everything, that's all in Iowa. But yeah, I mean, Gilbert, he just gave a different feel to that because it did hit me with my family. We had people growing up in my family with special needs. And the love I saw for Johnny Depp's character and just all of the characters in that movie, Johnny Depp really tied everybody together. If it wasn't for him playing that role, that movie would have sucked way more. But yeah, definitely Johnny Depp did a great job. It's just I'm voting Loki because I guess that's what came out of my mouth.
Loki gets a vote off of that one. Nancy, is it Loki or Johnny Depp?
Oh, I mean, I'd be lying if I said that like Johnny Depp carried through all of my like high school girl crushes and stuff. But I have to go with Loki. It's just for the fact. It's not a big role by any chance, but like one of them, the things I think of all the time is the Jaguar villains commercial from the Super Bowl years ago, and that is a moment for me, and I have to go with Tom Hiddleston.
Gets the vote and the current win off this one. Shay, finish us out. Is it Johnny Depp or Tom Hiddleston?
It's Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp gets the vote. It is Tom. Moving on to the next round. 3-2. Face another 3-2 in the next round. We'll be right back right after this break. Update for everybody involved. No steal of votes have been used. These next 4 matchups are the only time you can use them, so choose carefully. Bubbles, Jamie, Nancy, and myself still have lows to blow as well. Bubbles, do you feel comfortable going back?
I don't know. I think for time purposes, I'll go ahead and let you finish out.
All right. Well, wait for Jamie to turn real quick. Because she's like up. And she's not up, but she's getting close to it. For everybody watching out there on YouTube, you get to look into Jamie's kitchen.
There was a lovely dog there.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Tank.
It's a baby.
Yeah. Dude, Tank. Oh my God, Tank is a freaking velociraptor at times, man.
He's a big lover.
Oh my God. Anyway, welcome back for round 3 and beyond. It looks like Bubbles. Looks like Bubbles starts us off on this one. Bubbles, I am going to give you. Let's go with Hugh Jackman versus Ryan Reynolds.
I love this for us. I really do.
I don't.
And I feel like they should listen into this and
just Deadpool 3, man.
I did tag them on Twitter. So, and Ryan Reynolds has one hell of a Twitter game.
Right? Oh my gosh, though, like Hugh Jackman. Oh my God, just teenage Jess, just yes. But again, Ryan Reynolds, he's got me bending over backwards in any kind of position.
You still have loads to blow.
I know. You know what? For them, I'll definitely blow my load.
I saw that one coming. Jamie, is it Hugh Jackman or Ryan Reynolds?
This is not a promotion at all for the upcoming movie, but it could be. I'm gonna blow my fucking load on these two.
Yes!
Nancy, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds.
Well, now I can't. I was gonna blow my load too, but now I feel bad.
You can still blow your load. Like, no shame in that. You can
The only person who can't is Shay.
Yeah, I need some longer to think some things over. I'm gonna blow my load as well.
Shay, you are the opening vote on this one. Is it Ryan Reynolds or Hugh Jackman?
It's Ryan Reynolds all the way.
Shay had no problem getting off of that one. Just to be a bastard, and I personally think both of these are a good thing to go on, I'm going to vote for Hugh Jackman just to tie up the game. And push it back to Bubbles. Bubbles, you blew your load. Is it Hugh Jackman or Ryan Reynolds?
I did, and I would gladly blow my load for them any day of the week.
Well, you only got the one.
I know. But again, like I said, a head turner, super interest, I would say Ryan Reynolds is my guy.
Jamie, and Nancy's vote is still into play to steal if you so choose. Is it Ryan Reynolds or Hugh Jackman?
God damn. We all blew our loads on these guys, didn't we?
3, yes.
They deserve it. Gosh damn it. When I go to this movie, I might not be able to go in theater. I might have to stay home and wait for it to come out. Because if I'm blowing my load now, woo! Can't wait till. So if I'm thinking maybe my old school ways, I'd be definitely saying Logan and Wolverine, and Hugh Jackman, all that. But I think I need someone that's going to keep me on my toes. Someone just as mouthy as me, if not mouthier. I'm going to give it to Ryan Reynolds only because he definitely would keep the element of surprise there for me. Like I would just never know what's fucking next, and I love that about him.
The Merc with the mouth gets a vote off of that one from the mouthy bastard herself. Nancy, finish this out. Is it Hugh Jackman or Ryan Reynolds?
Oh, I have to go back to my theater. As much as I really, really love Ryan Reynolds, I think he's funny. My husband and I were briefly members of Mint Mobile, and one of their big gimmicks is they'll do things with Ryan Reynolds on holidays. So on Mother's Day, they had you call a number, and it's just Ryan Reynolds like supposedly talking to your kids for like 20 minutes, and it gets very X-rated very quickly, so you don't want to actually give it to your children, because he makes a joke about like, oh, if you're like me and my wife, your parents are probably making you a sibling. But yeah, I have to go with Hugh Jackman, the boy from Oz. Have to go with him.
Didn't he play Gaston as well?
So he played Gaston in a Australian stage version, but the live action was actually Luke Evans. Who?
Well, yeah. No, I know that was Luke Evans.
Because on Graham Norton, he, Luke Evans, and Taron Egerton did a Gaston off, where they had Taron Egerton play LeFou, and he and Luke Evans had to fight each other for who was the better Gaston.
That would have been fun to watch.
I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Yeah.
Next up, Jamie starts us off. And I don't know which one to give her. Jamie, is it Tom Hardy moving on 4-1 or Jason Momoa in a sweep?
Fucking God, I already blew my fucking load.
Yeah, you did.
Jason Momoa has won a bracket with us before.
When?
I can't steal my vote right now. I don't want to be.
Hold on. When did Jason Momoa win a bracket? Because I don't remember this.
I'm pretty sure he won a bracket at one point, or he got very, very close to winning one.
I think he got very, very close on the entire Hollywood Nice list, but
maybe. But I thought he won one already. God,
no, because that was Jim Carrey who won that one. It was Jim Carrey versus Dolly Parton in the finals.
Oh, that was.
Fuck me. Fuck.
I mean, the offer's been out there, but
no. Venom. Venom.
Really?
Didn't know what I was gonna say.
Now I have that Eminem song in my head with how he said that. I'm sorry. Venom.
Okay. Tom Hardy gets a vote off of that one. Nancy, is it Tom Hardy or Jason Momoa?
Oh, Momoa.
Momoa gets a vote. The redemption is coming. Shay, Jason Momoa, Tom Hardy. Momoa gets another one. I am going to save Jamie's ass as an Iowan. I'm going for Jason Momoa on this one. Bubbles finishes out. Tom Hardy, Jason Momoa.
You know what? I want this one to be a split vote. I'm going to go ahead. I'm also going to go with Tom Hardy on this, just because I think he's definitely earned the split on here. If it was going to be a split vote down to me, I would have went with Jason Momoa. However, I think Tom Hardy deserves the split there.
It does seem like we can't get a sweep through the quarterfinal matchups.
That would be true statements because this is getting
The
hard.
last two matchups, Ryan Reynolds was going in with 2 sweeps in a row. This one, Jason Momoa went in with 2 sweeps in a row. Both of them moved on 3-2 in split votes. So just seemed like the way. Nancy starts us off. Nancy, remember, you did not blow your load. You can, however, steal a vote. Is it Joseph Morgan or Loki?
I made a bad decision, didn't I? Oh. So, as I want to be diabolical here, but like I don't know any of you guys well enough to know who I should be diabolical to and who is going to be my enemy in this. But I feel like I need to make sure that my boy Joseph Morgan moves forward. So I'm trying to figure out who would go against me. I also kind of want to be Shay's best friend, so I'm like worried if I steal her vote, will she still want to be my friend?
Who is it that he's going against? 2020.
Joseph Morgan against who?
Joseph Morgan against Loki. So I am gonna say, ooh, forgive me, Freddie. I'm stealing your vote. I'm going for Joseph Morgan. I'm stealing.
That's all right with me. I honestly didn't care who won this one. So, there's that one.
I was trying to figure out who else would be the one who I want to steal their vote, but I'm going to steal yours.
I didn't care on this vote, so it wouldn't have mattered where I was going anyway, but I probably would have voted, since I didn't care, I probably would have voted just to tie the game. So realistically, if you're going for Joseph Morgan, I would have gone for Loki, just for that reason, just to be a bastard. But my vote was stolen. Good play on that one. Shay, what is your vote?
My vote was going to be for Loki, so I would have been interested for her to steal that one.
Bubbles, Joseph Morgan, Loki.
I am actually going to go for Joseph Morgan on this one. I think fuckability. He's got it.
Word of the day.
Fuckability?
Yeah, fuckability. Joseph Morgan,
we'll be moving on. His voice is awesome. He has a really sexy voice.
Moves on to the next round currently as it stands. Jamie, is it Joseph Morgan or Tom Hiddleston?
I feel like with Tom's name, when we say it appropriately, Tom Hiddleston can diddleton on out of here because it's going to be Joseph Morgan. Thank you.
Yes! Yes!
4-1, which realistically means that the vote did not need to be stolen, but moves on with the highest rate currently going on. Shay starts us off. Is it Heath Ledger or Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Oh, it's Daddy.
The really funny part, if you say Daddy, I don't need to even ask which one it is.
I don't think any of us do.
But I agree with you. I'm gonna go with Daddy. Hashtag Jeffrey Dean Morgan on there as well. Bubbles, is it Jeffrey Dean Morgan or Heath Ledger?
I like A Knight's Tale a lot, actually. And so I'm gonna go with Heath Ledger on this one. I do like myself my Silver Fox, and I have a feeling he is gonna move forward. So not mad about that at all, but I think Heath Ledger definitely needs some love because he is very beautiful.
Jamie is in a very weird position at this current time because she has the ability, if she wants Heath Ledger to move on, to steal a vote, because she is the last person to actually have that ability. Is Heath Ledger or Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
I don't think I've utilized all my lifelines in one episode ever. So whoever I'm able to steal from, let's just do it. Just because I can. We're giving it to Heath Ledger.
I'm surprised.
Gotcha.
That would have been Nancy. Nancy, what would have your vote been? Jeffrey Dean Morgan or Heath Ledger?
Daddy. It would have been Daddy.
I was gonna say she was going Daddy all the way.
Yeah, I was going Daddy all the way, baby.
3-2 faces on to 3-2 in the next round. Steal of votes are gone. That was the quarterfinal round, so there's no more left on that one. Shay started that one off, which means I start this one off. Usually, you know what, Nancy, I'm going to ask you a question because since I'm the one who's facing the board, I'm going to ask you this one. Pick one of these, and we're going to go ahead and start off that matchup. The final four are Ryan Reynolds, Joseph Morgan, Heath Ledger, and Jason Momoa. Pick one of those four, please.
Oh, I'm gonna go with my guy, Joseph Morgan.
Joseph Morgan gets the first bid. It is either Jason Momoa or Joseph Morgan.
Oh.
Moving on to the finals. My vote, again, 5-point planning. Jason Momoa beats everybody. He absolutely owns the wet look. He brought back Aquaman, of all fucking things. He is a comedic genius when it comes to even the movie Fast and Furious, which has been a dud since like the fourth one. He's an Iowan, so I kind of have to vote for him anyway. And he's a super fucking nice dude. He just is. There's a certain Iowan nice to him. Not to mention, I've seen pictures with him and his kid in the past, and they're fucking adorable.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa, and all respect to Joseph Morgan on this, Jason Momoa deserves this win. Bubbles. Jason Momoa, Joseph Morgan.
I'm also going to go with Jason Momoa on this. Again, that friendliness and still very much down to earth, even with all the fame and everything that he currently has.
Gets a vote, Jamie.
I feel like I need to ask the Lord for forgiveness today for not voting for him this last time. So please, Lord, forgive me for the sins I have done today. Amen. Jason motherfucking Momoa.
Yeah, like I said, I saved your ass last round and made sure that he made it to the next one. Jason Momoa gets that vote. Nancy, Jason Momoa, Joseph Morgan.
I feel so bad about saying this, with how much I've been toting Joseph Morgan this entire game, and the fact that like Joseph Morgan is.
It's your boo thing.
He is. He literally has not made it to what my friends. He's like right at the bottom tier of what my friends call my harem of Hollywood husbands. He got beat out by a young upstart, but I love him so much. However, it has to be Jason freaking Momoa. If it's up between the two of them, if it's up between the two of them, it has to be Jason Momoa. And so I'm so sorry, Joseph Morgan, but it's Jason Momoa.
You still have the ability to get third place on this one. Shay, finish this out. Is it Jason Momoa or Joseph Morgan?
Oh, it's my baby daddy, Jason Momoa.
I keep wanting to say Jeffrey Morgan on here, and it ticks me off. In a sweep, Jason Momoa moves on to the finals. Bubbles starts us off on this one. Bubbles, the other matchup is, of course, Ryan Reynolds versus Heath Ledger.
Shamelessly, it's Ryan Reynolds.
Shamelessly gets a vote off of that one. Jamie, Ryan Reynolds, Heath Ledger.
Absolutely. Gonna have to, because we know where this is going. Ryan Reynolds.
Gets another one. Nancy.
I've got to go with Ryan Reynolds, the Merc with a mouth himself.
Shay.
Ryan Reynolds all day.
And of course, I'm going to go with Ryan Reynolds, which means Ryan Reynolds moves on in a sweep. We have a sweep versus sweep matchup in the finals for this one, and it's going to be Jason Momoa versus Ryan Reynolds.
Can I have them both in a room? Can I have them both in a room alone first?
Yeah. Then
Or you're gonna have to make a decision in some way.
Can we play,
it might take a little bit, but I'll find one.
can we play Mary, F, or kill, and just get rid of the kill and just pick one we marry and the other is a
fuck, marry, fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, that would be a good way to decide. Not fuck, marry, kill, but find like a different, more appropriate way of doing that, like fuck, marry, date type thing.
Yeah.
Fuck, marry, side piece.
And whichever one of the two gets 2 out of the 3 wins your particular vote type thing. Because that's 3 different things: fucking somebody, marrying somebody, and dating somebody. It's good. It's good to date and marry at the same time. It's a good practice, but it's not always practical. So, because there's certain people you date but never fucking marry, and there's certain people you fuck that you wouldn't date or marry, type thing. So there's that goes. Anyway, Nancy starts us off before she goes anywhere else. Is it for third place Heath Ledger or Joseph Morgan?
I think you know the answer. It's Joseph Morgan. It's gonna be
Yeah,
Joseph
but I
Morgan.
needed a break so I can get something to drink. Shay, Joseph Morgan, Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Gets a vote. I'm gonna give it to Heath Ledger as well. And not for 10 Things I Hate About You. I'm gonna give Heath Ledger the vote for A Knight's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
Because that
my
movie
mom's
is fucking
favorite movie.
fantastic. And he's hotter than fucking that movie. Heath
Yeah,
Ledger
he
gets
is.
my vote. Bubbles. Heath Ledger, Joseph Morgan.
Again, I love A Knight's Tale. And you're absolutely right. He's very sexy in there. He's very good looking. He was definitely my high school type. He is also my villain type with the Joker. I do absolutely love that Joseph Morgan is a consistent villain, but I gotta give it to my guy Heath.
Taking the split decision vote away from Jamie on this one. Jamie, is it Heath Ledger or Joseph Morgan?
For background noise purposes, right now we're going with Heath Ledger.
I'm
Heath
fine
Ledger,
with that.
Heath Ledger moves on 4-1 in third place. Shay, everybody blew their load but me. Shay starts us off. Shay, is it Jason Momoa in a sweep or Ryan Reynolds in a sweep?
My baby daddy, please.
Gets a vote. I will be blowing my load. Bubbles.
My baby daddy will be getting my vote, Ryan Reynolds.
Jamie, is it Ryan Reynolds or Jason Momoa?
Fuck all of you, including myself. But I'll fuck myself the best. God damn it. I know Ryan Reynolds can make me laugh, so we're gonna go with Deadpool.
Going against your Iowan again.
So this is hard. This is really hard. This is probably the hardest decision, honestly, in this mashup.
You gave me so many opportunities to say something, and I didn't do it.
I was waiting for her to get. This is extremely hard. Yeah, it is.
I mean,
Giggity.
with these two, yeah,
Viagra,
yeah.
not sponsor, but fucking could be.
We'll also accept Blue Chew.
I honestly.
Cialis.
Tadalafil.
Okay. I gotta go with Jason Momoa.
Which means it is a tie-breaking decision coming down to me on this one. Just how I wanted it. I do find it funny that in a DILF bracket for the final decision comes down to somebody who wasn't even supposed to be here. We just discussed on the entire fuck, marry, date situation. Let's go in progression.
Remember, this is
it should be date, fuck, then marry, but for me, it's probably fuck, date,
Fuck,
marry.
date, marry.
Fuck, date, marry. So let's be real here. For me, it's fuck, date, marry. Between the two, who would I much rather fuck? I would much rather fuck Jason Momoa. To be perfectly honest, Jason Momoa is he's
Beast.
built like a brick shit house. He really is. So if you want to be fucking dominated, especially as a guy, you're gonna be dominated. I think.
Yes. Sorry,
I think Jason Momoa got that one. Who would I much rather
vote on the final round?
do? What?
Can I change my vote on the final round? Because you didn't finalize it yet.
I mean, can I get my shit out first before you do that?
No.
Please, because I do have an entire thing here.
Okay.
So I would much rather fuck Jason Momoa. I would much rather date Ryan Reynolds because there's a definite humor built into that, and you want humor in your life because sex, believe it or not, eventually, it's not what all ends all, especially in marriage. I've been married for 7 years now, and it's not all about sex. There's actually a day-to-day basis. So that makes it a tie game between the two. I do have my marry, but do you want to change your vote before I say this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so Jamie, you originally went with what?
Ryan Reynolds.
Okay, so it does get it does get Ryan Reynolds off the board. My marry, by the way, was Ryan Reynolds for the same reason the date would be. I think humor lasts longer than sex does. I can laugh up into my 80s, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think I'm fucking anybody up in my 80s.
You'd be surprised.
Medical science may prove me wrong, but I'm just saying. But with Jamie changing her vote last minute, it is Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa gets the vote and the win. That is our show this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Jesus.
Jamie redeemed herself last minute. It is Heath Ledger in third place, Ryan Reynolds gets second, and Jason Momoa, an extremely close vote, gets first. Bubbles, where can people find you?
You can find me right here on Bracket Bastards, and you can also find me on the TikTok under Jessie Marie.
You can find Jamie at
first and foremost, of course, here, but your Facebook connections, you know, the Book of Faces, that gives you the rest of where you can find me. Otherwise, you can fuck around and find out.
You can find Nancy at
you can find me over on Dr. P.F. Jeremiah and his Infernal Roommate podcast, which is on all carriers. We also have a Facebook profile, and if you want to befriend Angus the Deaf Hand from our show, he is on Facebook now. But you're going to probably have to talk to him through the Facebook page first. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
And you can find our newest bastard, which we're going to have to come up with a bastard name for eventually. Shay, where can people find you?
Oh, cozily right here with my baby daddy.
And winner.
Yes. But you can obviously find me here. You can find me on Wednesdays on the Para or Normal Guys, Fridays on the Grin and Guardian Gang, and Saturday on the Misfits. That is all under the Sport Cat shows on YouTube, or you can check out me fucking around on TikTok at ShyBug2021.
And of course, I am your halfway host, Freddie Fisher, on this week. You can find me at that on Facebook. While you're on Facebook, check out Bracketology. We have 2 polls going up every single day. Currently, it is the terrific teachers, because while they're on summer vacation, they're still working. Do not forget that teachers do actually work during summertime. This is our respect for them. It is in second round. The other one is the DILF bracket, which is what we did today. But this time you get a chance to vote on whatever that is. So go ahead and check out that on Facebook. On Twitter, I'm at Fisher777. We're all at Bracket Bastards, not Bracket Pod. I've been saying it wrong this entire fucking time. I'm sorry. Other
You're
than that,
forgiven.
I am on Instagram at Can't Lick Me, not one word.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry.
Next week, our Father's Day celebration continues, and it is a bracket that I affectionately call My Ding-a-ling. We were just talking about the entire Alpha Titties conversation.
Hi.
We are doing something for the guys on this one. We have 32 names for the penis. And I feel really weird saying that with kids in thing. Okay, you have headphones on. You're good. You have headphones on. You're good. I will end this show the same way I leave every single show. That is with a quote. This is from Matthew McConaughey, as I said before, and that is, "Never is a man more of a man than when he is the father of a newborn." Have a good week, guys.
Bye.
Uh-oh.